Hello, hi everyone. We'll be doing the world mapping. So here I'll be covering all the important locations which will be useful for your examination. I will guarantee you at least 10 questions. So here, firstly, I'm taking Asia and Africa. So in Asia and Africa, I'll be doing the static part as well as the current part. So here I'll teach you how to link the static part with the current part. From these two continents, most of the locations will be coming. Whereas for Europe, Australia, North America and South America, I'll be doing only important locations which are there in the current affairs. So this will be immensely helpful for you, and I guarantee you such kind of a mapping does not exist anywhere on the internet. If you want, you can put the link of this YouTube on any AI or LLM and you can check. It will give you 9.5 out of 10 rating. So this is my guarantee. So let's dive into it without wasting time. Now first let's do the physiography of Asia. You can see in Asia here, so these are the Himalayas. So starting from Arakan Yoma, Pegu Yoma, the Himalayas are extending into Tibet, they're extending into Turkey, and then they'll be extending into Europe also. This is also called as Trans-Eurasian Himalayan Belt. So these are the young fold mountains. Now let's focus on the Russia part here. So in the Russia part you see, so this is the Ural mountains, and the extension of the Ural in the Arctic, this is called as Novaya Zelmya Island. Beside this you have Kara Sea. The Kara Sea is very important for the hydrocarbon reserves. So right now, the Russia is mining in this region. It is mining oil in the Arctic, and there is rush for Arctic oil. And these are the central plains. You can see the low-lying lands over here. So these are quite marshy and very important for the oil reserves. And this is all the eastern highlands. Not that important. So whatever is important, I'll be telling you. And you see a low-lying basin over here, this one. So this is a Lena basin. So wherever you see the low-lying areas, there you will be having rivers, and rest of the region you will be having plateaus. Now you see the Franz Josef land. The Franz Josef land is in the Arctic. It's an archipelago north of Barents Sea and Kara Sea. So in Kara Sea, just now I told you, the Russia is mining hydrocarbons. And it's very important because it's a military scientific. So Russia will be using this for military purposes and also for scientific purposes. So in the future, when the Arctic sea route, which India is also going to be part of, it will be established. So this will play a very important role. So ship servicing ke liye, rukne ke liye, military post ke liye, that will be useful to you. So next one is Novaya Zelmya. Just now I told you, it is the extension of the Ural. So Ural is a fold mountain which has been created around 350 to 400 million years ago. So right now it is a residual mountain. It has been reduced a lot. Both purana ho chuka hai. You see one peninsula over here. So this is the Yamal Peninsula. So it has got a lot of gas infrastructure, and the liquefied natural gas, it will be playing a very important role. So in the future, when the Arctic sea route will be established, so we can get oil also here. And previously in UPSC, many times the question has been asked on Arctic Circle, which countries are running for Arctic, the important islands over here. Now you see here, this we have covered Novaya Zelmya. This is the Ural mountains. It's a very old fold mountain. So this is Western Siberian plain. You have important rivers over here. And in the southern part, you have Altai mountains. So this is a central Siberian plateau. So much of the central Siberian plateau is made up of Siberian traps. And this is called as the east, total eastern part. And India has got a lot of interest in the eastern region. Now you see the location here, the Kamchatka Peninsula you see here. The Kamchatka Peninsula, this is important because near the Kamchatka Peninsula, so this is the Kuril Trench. So this is where the Pacific plate is undergoing subduction. So because of which it is highly prone to volcanic eruptions. And you can see a massive volcanic eruptions with a lot of dust, ash in this region. So that's why, it is very important. Of course, when you'll be having volcanoes, you can also have earthquakes and tsunamis. So this is that, convergent plate boundary. So between the Eurasian plate and the Pacific plate. This side you have Pacific plate and this side you have the Eurasian plate. So that is the location of Kamchatka Peninsula. Okay, it is very important because it is important for fishing also. It is very near to USA. USA यहाँ से सिर्फ 90 kilometers दूर है. So this is a Bering Strait over here. So this is the Arctic. So this is the Bering Sea. So okay, this strait, okay, if you're going 90 kilometers away, you'll be getting Alaska. So USA is very near. So near that you have this Kamchatka Peninsula, which can be asked. Below this Kamchatka Peninsula, you see a group of islands called as Kuril Islands. The Kuril Islands, okay, these islands here. So these are conflicted between the Japan and the Russia. Now, during winters it is extremely frozen, okay, because during winters it gets extremely cold here, okay, in Russia. So because of which a cold Siberian air mass is formed. So when the cold Siberian air mass, when it will be moving away from the source region, so it will be bringing a lot of blizzards, and they will pick moisture, little bit of moisture from the Sea of Okhotsk. Here you have Sea of Okhotsk, and then it will be giving snowfall in Kamchatka Peninsula. So it is prone to heavy snowstorms and dust storms. And in USA, these snowstorms and dust storms are also called as blizzards. So it is very important in terms of military, economic importance because of high value fishing, and it gives access to USA, okay, through the Bering Strait, and environmental and scientific importance because you have a lot of volcanoes here. So it is important in terms of geothermal energy, okay, scientific experiments, etc. So next one is the Western Siberian Plain, the plain which you see here. So it is very important, okay, in terms of oil and gas reserves of Russia, and world over the oil and gas, okay, has become very important. So that's why And one more important thing, why it is important, because ONGC Videsh Limited, OVL, okay, owns Imperial Energy. Okay, यहाँ पे Toms region है. So ONGC has got some assets over here. You may not remember, okay, just remember that the Western Siberian Plain, okay, has got a lot of oil and gas. So you can see here the Western Siberian Plain, okay, if you compare the various regions of Russia, the Western Siberian Plain, okay, it has got highest amount of oil and gas reserves. And also, okay, remember this region Sakhalin. Here also India has got a lot of interests. Of course, others will be discussing. So next one here is the Sakhalin Island. Just now I have shown you Sakhalin Islands. Again, ONGC Videsh Limited. It is holding 20% stake in the Sakhalin 1 project. So, following global shifts in 2022, Russia has become the India's top supplier. I'll show you the Russia, India, what close ties, and what all aspects India is dependent upon Russia. So USA ने बोला कि रशिया से भाई थोड़ा कम करो, लेकिन USA ने फिर अलाउ किया इंडिया को रशिया से इंपोर्ट करो. So right now around 30 to 35% of our total crude oil, okay, comes from Russia. So that's why, okay, these become important over here. So next is the Ural mountain, okay, a erstwhile foal mountain है. So Ural का इस तरफ, okay, it is Europe, and Ural का उस तरफ, it is Asia, okay. So the western part of Ural is called as Siberia, and Russia इस तरफ भी है. So Russia, okay, is in Europe, okay, it is as well as in Asia, okay, and okay, residual mountains है, अभी बहुत सारा erode हो चुका है. Okay, and India is a major import of Russian potash and phosphate. So in this Urals we will be getting potash and phosphate also. They are largely mined from the Ural and Perm regions. You don't have to remember this. Just remember Ural is a old foal mountain. Now look here, okay, this is all the eastern part over here. You see the central Siberian plateau. The central Siberian plateau is largely made up of the traps, Siberian traps, which have been released around 250 million years ago. And whenever such kind of massive volcanic eruptions happen on the surface of the earth, then it will lead to a mass scale extinction. And the 250 million years ago, okay, that also divides between the Paleozoic and the Mesozoic. Now, if it is becoming too heavy, just focus on the locations because I'm a hardcore geographer, so I'll be intending the geography part here. So Central Siberian Plateau, okay, you'll be having a lot of block and fold mountains, not that important, okay, and from this region, you get a lot of diamonds also, especially from the eastern part. And why it is important? Because Russia is the world's largest producer of rough diamonds. And India, Surat, is the world's largest, okay, in terms of cutting and polishing diamonds. So that's why it is important, okay. Ye yaad rakhna, Russia is the largest. Now you have Lake Baikal over here. See the location. So this is where you have Lake Baikal. And Lake Baikal, what is the importance here? It is the deepest lake in the world, 1642 meters. So whenever you see something very deep lake other than sea, that means it has been caused by endogenic forces, divergent plate boundary. So once upon a time, it had divergence. And when this divergence has happened, around 25 to 30 million years ago. And it holds 20% of world's unfrozen fresh water. So massive amount of fresh water it will be holding. So why it is going to be important in the future? Because so in the tropical regions, they're getting hotter and hotter. The climate is getting erratic. The water resources will be operated. So that's why nowadays in the examination, they're asking the lakes, they're focusing on the lakes, okay, which are getting dried up. So because of this climate vagaries. So that's why these kind of lakes, the Great Lakes of USA, this Lake Baikal, Balkash, they become important because they have a very large amount of water. And it is also been told that the Third World War will be fought over the water. Now, of course, it will be having a lot of biodiversity, etc. So one thing which you have to remember here is, so whenever you see deep lakes, they are formed by endogenic forces. And in the eastern part of Russia, this region, okay, it has got a lot of diamonds, okay. It is very important in terms of geostrategic importance also, and future also will be going into the Arctic. Yahan se Arctic sea route bhi ban raha hai. So both important hai. So for that reason, we are also building China Vladivostok. Remember this city? Vladivostok is in Russia. So India is discussing Chennai Vladivostok maritime corridor to link the eastern ports with the Russia's far east. So the Siberian traps, just now I told you, which has happened around 250 million years ago. जैसे अपने डेक्कन ट्रैप्स, डेक्कन लावा प्लेट्यू इंडिया में फॉर्म हुआ है, ऐसे ही फॉर्म हुआ है डेक्कन लावा प्लेट्यू इंडिया में 65 मिलियन ईयर्स अगो फॉर्म हुआ है, बट दिस हैज बीन फॉर्म्ड अराउंड 250 मिलियन ईयर्स अगो एंड मच ऑफ इट हैज बीन एरोडेड, थोड़ा बहुत बचा है, एंड दैट इज इन द फॉर्म ऑफ द सेंट्रल साइबेरियन प्लेट्यू. एंड यू सी द Caucasus over here. The Caucasus is not only a climatic divide, but also it is acting as a cultural divide. So why I am discussing this? Because the UPSC has always focused on the regions which are getting autonomous, जहाँ पे insurgency है, या वो regions जो देश से separate होना चाहते हैं. So those kind of regions UPSC always focuses on. And वो क्यों अलग होना चाहता है? It might be because of cultural differences. And UPSC once in the mains examination also has asked, okay, why the border regions are always in conflict. So this is one such region. So Caucasus mountain, it also belongs to Himalayan orogeny. So northern side of the Caucasus, it's all Christian world. यहाँ पे race अलग है, region अलग है, ethnicity अलग है. इसके नीचे it's all Muslim world. ये Muslim है, Christian है. And जहाँ पे भी आपके पहाड़ होते हैं, okay, या geography थोड़ी tough होती है. So tough geography में you'll be having a lot of ethnicity. So it's a transition, cultural transition. So when you'll be having cultural transition, the things will be mixed up over there. And when a majority tries to rule over the minority, that is where all the problem will start. Okay? So that is where कुछ लोग अलग होना चाहते हैं. So that's why we'll be studying these autonomous regions or independent regions. So it's a young fold mountain, okay, belonging to Himalayan orogeny and home to Mount Elbrus. It's the highest point of the Europe, okay, and they block the cold winds because it is also acting as a climatic divide. So जो भी ठंडी हवा यहाँ से आ रही है नीचे तक नहीं आएगा. जैसे हिमालयस भी रोक के रखता है ना, तो साइबेरिया से जो ठंडी हवा आ रही है, okay, रोक के रखता है. So Himalayas is also acting as a climate divide. Similarly, the Caucasus also acts. Now, let's see some of the important points over here which are in the news and which are of importance. See, इधर कॉकासस के जस्ट ऊपर रशिया में एक रीजन है कॉल्ड एज चेचनिया रीजन. सो चेचनिया इज डोमिनेटेड बाय मुस्लिम्स. ये मुस्लिम्स है बिकॉज नीचे मुस्लिम्स है, थोड़ा बहुत मुस्लिम्स उधर भी चले गए होंगे, लेकिन कॉकासस के ऊपर पूरा क्रिश्चियन वर्ल्ड है. So obviously, okay, when you'll be having a religious divide, so the people of this Chechnya, they want to get separated. You see a guy over here, his name is Ramdan Kadyrov. So this guy was heading Chechnya. Since Putin is an agent, ex-agent, so he has maintained good relationship with this leader. So they are at peace now. लेकिन ये जो बंदा है रमदान, he is having serious issues, उसके health issues हो रहे हैं. So that's why जब इसकी leadership गिर जाएगी, then Chechnya will be in turmoil. So रशिया को problem create कर सकता है in the southern part of the Russia, in the Caucasus region. So remember Chechnya, where is Chechnya? Just the northern part of this Caucasus mountain. अगर इस रीजन के ऊपर मुस्लिम्स है, इस रीजन के नीचे क्रिश्चियंस भी होंगे, राइट? सो दिस इज समवेयर, यू हैव दिस चेचनिया, यहाँ पे कहीं पे चेचनिया है, सो नीचे क्रिश्चियंस भी होंगे. नाउ यू सी दिस रीजन, दिस इज कॉल्ड एज नगोर्नो कराबाख. सो नगोर्नो कराबाख इज इन अजरबैजान. सो अजरबैजान इज ए शिया कंट्री, मुस्लिम है. नगोर्नो कराबाख में क्रिश्चियन है, क्रिश्चियन. See, geography defines your culture, your religion, everything. So, Nagorno means the hilly region of Karabakh. यहाँ पे पहाड़ है, इसलिए there is no intermixing of culture. So, यहाँ के लोग क्रिश्चियन ही रह गए. So, these Christians here, in Nagorno-Karabakh were Armenians. So, 2023 में क्या हुआ? Overnight अजरबैजान ने यहाँ पे एक ड्रोन स्ट्राइक करवाया. ओवरनाइट जितने भी आर्मेनियन पोस्ट है, आर्मेनियन आर्मी है, पूरे को तबाह कर दिया. एंड अजरबैजान हैज टेकन ओवर दिस रीजन. अभी नगोर्नो कराबाख पूरा अजरबैजान के कंट्रोल में है. अभी आर्मेनिया में क्रिश्चियंस है, एंड आर्मेनिया हैज द बैकिंग ऑफ रशिया. रशिया आर्मेनिया को सपोर्ट करता है बिकॉज ऑफ सेम एथनिसिटी, सेम रिलीजन. So this region, Nagorno-Karabakh, you remember, it has been taken over by Azerbaijan. Now you see here, Azerbaijan की territory जो है, which is separated. यहाँ पे छोटा सा कॉरिडोर आपको दिख रहा है, जंगेजूर कॉरिडोर. ये छोटा सा जंगेजूर कॉरिडोर है. Now Azerbaijan is trying to build a road to connect the Azerbaijan with this part of the Azerbaijan. This is called as Jangejur corridor. This part of the Azerbaijan here is called as this Nakchikan enclave. ये Nakchikan enclave है. Now you see Nakchikan enclave. This is the corridor which I am talking about, and that is Nagorno-Karabakh. And recently, India has been selling a lot of defense equipment to Armenia. So that's why it is important. And the CDS, the Chief of the Defense Staff, has also visited Armenia. And more about these things, you will study in your defense technologies. So Turkey-Azerbaijan route through Zangezur corridor. Remember this, Zangezur corridor. The Zangezur corridor will be connecting Azerbaijan with its exclave called as Nakhchivan. Now, which the Armenia may not agree, because Armenia का जो हिस्सा था यहाँ पे नगोर्नो कराबाख, उसको अजरबैजान ने ले लिया, तो इसके लिए ईरान का सपोर्ट चाहिए. And Iran already turmoil में है. So that's why it's in the news. And now you see this region in the Caucasus here. So Caucasus के just नीचे यहाँ पे you have a country called as Georgia. So Georgia has a coast with the Black Sea, and Black Sea will be opening into the Atlantic. Okay, so Black Sea से okay you'll be coming to state of Bosphorus, your Sea of Marmara, Aegean Sea में जाएंगे, Aegean Sea से you'll be getting into Mediterranean, and then you'll be getting into this Atlantic. So Russia के लिए Black Sea का coast is very important. Okay, so already Russia has taken over an island here called as Crimea. Now Russia wants the control of Georgia also. Okay, now Georgia में, because this is a cultural transition region, so Georgia में भी ऐसे लोग होंगे जो जॉर्जिया से हैप्पी नहीं है. So to these people Russia supports. उनको आर्म्स चाहिए, एमिनिशन चाहिए, रशिया देगा. जैसे बलूची है, okay, they are not happy with the Pakistan. So India बलूचीज को हेल्प करते हैं. आपने देखा होगा this okay movie called as, what is that movie? I don't remember. So movie देखा होगा. So यहाँ पे कुछ autonomous region है. Okay, so Abkhazia is an autonomous region here. South Ossetia autonomous है. Azaria autonomous है. So kind of they are independent for all practical purposes. Remember these three. So इसके नीचे ही okay you have this Armenia. Okay, आपका नक्चिवान है, ज़ंजीगुर कॉरिडोर है, अजरबैजान है, नगोर्नो कराबाख भी है. So remember all these regions. Anyways, you know I'll be uploading okay this document in a description below. Okay, आपके एग्जाम के रिवीजन के लिए बहुत इजी हो जाएगा. Next, all these things have been explained. You can go through. So look at some of the important rivers here. Ob River, very important river. Ob River का जो okay this tributary है, it's called as Irkish River. And you have this one more river, Yenisei River. Okay, Lena River. This is where Lake Baikal is. So these are some of the important rivers. And remember the order of the sea also. Barents Sea, Kara Sea, Leptev Sea, and East Siberian Sea. Okay, BKLS. Okay, something of this sort. Because there is a rush for Arctic oil, and also the Russia and China together, they are establishing Arctic sea route. So इस sea का order पूछ सकता है. So they'll be giving you these 4 seas and they will ask you to arrange from east to west or west to east. So let's see the importance of this rivers. You know किस okay चीज के लिए important है. See, I'm telling you one more geographical concept as well. जब भी आप हार्ड ग्रेनिटिक नीसिक रॉक में, जैसे इंडिया का पेनिनसुलर प्लेट्यू है, अगर उसमें आप एक रिवर देखते हो, ओके, मोस्ट प्रोबेबली दैट रिवर विल बी हैविंग कोल डिपॉजिट्स. बिकॉज हार्ड ग्रेनिटिक नीसिक रॉक में रिवर अपने आप रास्ता बना के नहीं जाएगा. इट वोंट बी एबल टू कार्व द हार्ड रॉक्स एंड मेक इट्स पाथ. सो इट्स ऑलरेडी ए स्ट्रक्चरल क्रैक और स्ट्रक्चरल रिफ्ट होगा. And wherever you have a rift, if in that rift, if the plant remains or fossilified, so most probably it will give rise to coal. So that's why in the Himalayan rivers, river basins, you will not be finding coal in India. Whereas in the southern India, along Godavari you have coal, Damodar you have coal, Mahanadi you have coal, okay, and okay, wherever you have okay these rivers, there you will be having coal, especially if the river is in peninsular plateau. So why say along these river basins you'll be finding coal reserves. Okay, they'll be important for energy and industry. For example, Ob River है, coal and energy के लिए important है. तो यहाँ पे एक very important coal mine called as Cusbas coal mine. The Cusbas coal mine is important because so India को coking coal यहाँ से आता है. So coal is of two types, coking coal and non-coking coal. The coking coal में sulfur का content नहीं होता है. That's why coking coal will be used in the metallurgical industry, iron and steel industries में इसी को use करते हैं. So ये coal, it does not just provide energy, but also it will be acting as reducing agent. So coal को steel बनाने में help करेगा. अगर आपके कोयले में sulfur है, वो आपका iron brittle हो जाएगा. Next you have Yenisei River. Again, Yenisei River is important for hydroelectric power and aluminum smelters. So aluminum factories will be located in that area where you'll be getting cheap hydroelectric power and जो यहाँ पे है. Next, the Lena River, also called as Lena Basin, ये diamond mining के लिए important है. Okay, just now we have discussed. And India का interest क्या है? Diamonds, okay, which come from here, So they'll be going to Surat, वहाँ पे polish होता है, वहाँ पे cutting होता है. So India, okay, is looking for Far East for Act East far policy. So India के Act East policy में this extreme eastern side of the Russia को भी add कर लिया, and also Chennai Vladivostok, that sea route will be playing an important role. Now look at the map over here. You see the Volga River. See, why I have taken this map is, now Russia है, okay? So this is all ice cold. In northern part में पूरा ice cold है. And इस तरफ, okay, Russia USA का ज़्यादा trade होता नहीं है, okay? So Russia has to connect to this part. लेकिन ये winter में क्या होता है? Cold होता है. It becomes difficult. Now Russia का interiors, okay, have to be connected. So here you have a river called as the Volga River, right? Okay, here you have a river called as the Don River. Now this Volga River is further connected to the Baltic Sea. So जितने भी Russian interiors है, so through canals, through roadways, through railways, they are connected to this Volga River, and Volga is further connected to the Baltic Sea, and then it is further connected to the Atlantic. So it becomes very easy for the trade. Because Black Sea में तो Ukraine war हो रहा है, so it becomes difficult for Russia. So Russia is always checking for the alternatives. So this is one such route. Anyways, with the help of China, they are also building the Arctic Sea route. Now here you see, this is the Caspian Sea and this is the Black Sea. So there is a canal called as Volga-Don Canal. So Volga River is connected to the Don River, so that, okay, Russia can do the trade very easily. So यहाँ पे, okay, in the eastern part of the Ukraine, you have a region called as Donbass region. So Donbass region is very rich in coal. And the eastern part of the Ukraine में बहुत सारे ethnic Russians है. So that's why they support Russia. And यहाँ पे दो regions है called as Lugansk and Kuznetsk. Sorry, Lugansk and Donetsk. They are under the control of Russia, right? So that I'll be showing you. So you see here, the Volga-Don Canal, it is important for navigation, and the Volga-Ural, okay? So whatever resources are there in the Ural region, okay, in the other regions of Russia, so that can be easily traded and transported. And this Volga is also connected to the Baltic Sea. So don't remember all this, just एक idea जान लेना, okay? ये सब locations उतना important नहीं है, okay? Static में important हो सकते हैं, but current में उतना नहीं है. So remember this lake, Lake Onega, Lake Ladoga. So this is also called as Volga-Baltic waterway. So this is the Baltic Sea which will be opening into the Atlantic Ocean. And Russia is important for, okay, INSTC, that is International North-South Transport Corridor. So if you want to go from India towards the Europe, okay, we have to go through this Bab-el-Mandeb, Suez Canal, Mediterranean, and this route is longer. And यहाँ पे हौती rebels से ईरान में बहुत problem हो रहा है. So we are looking for alternative routes because we should not be putting all the eggs in one basket. So that's why this is the alternative route. So India से goods जाएंगे बंदर अब्बास, which is in Iran, वहाँ से बाकू, Azerbaijan, Astrakhan, which is in Kazakhstan, Moscow. So यहाँ पे मैंने बोला था आपको Volga River है, okay? So Moscow से Saint Petersburg, and from Saint Petersburg they'll be going to Baltic Sea, North Sea, and then into Atlantic. So this is where the Volga-Baltic waterway will be playing an important role. Okay, जो भी चीजें मैंने यहाँ लिया है, so वो इंडिया के लिए important है. So this is the international north-south transport corridor. You can have a bigger picture also over here. So remember this, okay? Bandar Abbas तो आपको remember करना है, okay? Astrakhan you remember. These two locations you remember. Next, Arctic and Northern Sea route. So just now I told you, okay, Russia is looking for a lot of alternatives. So that's why it is also building Arctic Sea route with the help of the China. So China का BRA का Belt and Road Initiative का भी part है. But during the winters it becomes extremely cold, okay, in the Arctic. So यहाँ पे okay कुछ ice breakers होते हैं, ship होती है, ice को break करती है, वो आगे चलती है, उसके पीछे बाकी ship आता है. And these ships will be powered by the nuclear power, क्योंकि डीजल कभी भी खत्म हो सकता है. अगर कोई ship वहाँ पे फंस गया, okay, then उसमें डीजल खत्म हो गया, बहुत प्रॉब्लम होगा. इसलिए इसको न्यूक्लियर पावर से बर्न करते हैं. So next one, okay, so India Russia ties, again I will be getting into a little bit of IR also. Now if you see, वर्ल्ड में कौन है मेजर एक्सपोर्टर ऑफ आर्म्स? यूएसए. अभी वर्ल्ड में कहीं पे भी वॉर हो रही हो, सो किसको ज्यादा फायदा है? यूएसए, बिकॉज ऑलमोस्ट 50% ऑफ द आर्म्स इन द वर्ल्ड आर सप्लाइड बाय यूएसए. अभी सेकंड रिसिपिएंट ऑफ आर्म्स कौन है वर्ल्ड में? इंडिया है. अभी यूक्रेन इज इन द हाईएस्ट. अगर यूक्रेन में वॉर नहीं होता देन इंडिया वुड बी ऑन द टॉप. ना अभी देखो कतर, देखो कतर, आप गेस भी नहीं करोगे, कतर इज इंपोर्टिंग 6.8%. अभी कतर भाई छोटी सी कंट्री है, कतर सबके साथ दोस्ती है, सो कतर इतना आर्म्स क्यों इंपोर्ट कर रहा है? ओके, किसी रेबल ग्रुप्स को फंड कर रहा है क्या? ओके, आप ये देखो, ये आपके IR में आप पढ़ो. नेक्स्ट, नाउ सम इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग्स यू हैव टू कीप इन माइंड हियर व्हेन इट कम्स टू द इंपोर्ट्स इन इंडिया. So Russia is still a dominant player. Around 40% of the imports are coming from Russia. अभी second highest फ्रांस है, कोई गेस भी नहीं करेगा, फ्रांस है. एंड बहुत सारे लोग सोचेंगे कि इजराइल टॉप में होगा. इजराइल उतना टॉप में नहीं है, बल्कि इजराइल से थोड़ा बहुत ओके इंपोर्ट्स कम हो गया. अभी यूएसए देखो, यूएसए कहीं पे भी नहीं था, देखो 10 to 13% आ गया. So यूएसए से वी आर बाइंग a lot of arms. So these points you have to remember. So once upon a time, okay, 2010 में okay, रशिया से इंडिया used to import 70%. अभी 70 गिर गया, around 40%. We have reduced a lot. So Israel का भी शेयर डिप हो गया, because we must be thinking that India Israel good friends है. So अगर एग्जाम में स्टेटमेंट आएगा कि इजराइल से okay imports बढ़ गया, you might be marking it right. लेकिन वो रॉन्ग स्टेटमेंट है. फ्रांस बिगेस्ट गेनर, यूएसए कहीं पे भी नहीं था, यूएसए टॉप में आ गया. ओके, दिस आर सम ऑफ द. सो व्हाट इज हैपनिंग बेसिकली इज फ्रॉम रशिया सेंट्रिक वी आर बिकमिंग मोर मल्टी प्रोंग्ड. ओके, मल्टीपल कंट्रीज से वी आर इंपोर्टिंग. नाउ व्हेन इट कम्स टू क्रूड ऑयल इंपोर्ट्स, 5 years ago रशिया वाज नोवेयर. अभी रशिया से वी आर इंपोर्टिंग अराउंड 36%. सो व्हाई दिस बिकम्स इंपॉर्टेंट? बिकॉज ट्रंप ने बोला भाई रशिया से बंद करो, ट्रंप ने फिर से बोला रशिया से आप ऑयल इंपोर्ट करो. सो दैट्स व्हाई इट बिकम्स इंपॉर्टेंट. अभी फ्यूचर में क्या होगा पता नहीं है, लेकिन फिलहाल आपके लिए तो याद रखना ये है. एंड टॉप 5 ओके इंपोर्टर्स पूछ सकता है. सो इराक है अराउंड 20 to 21%. नेक्स्ट सऊदी, यूनाइटेड अरब एमिरेट्स, रशिया, सॉरी यूएसए भी आ रहा है. अब आपको पता चला वाई ओके यूएसए इज आस्किंग नॉट टू इंपोर्ट फ्रॉम रशिया, बिकॉज रशिया से अगर इंपोर्ट नहीं करेगा तो यूएसए से इंडिया इंपोर्ट करेगा. सो उनका खुद का फायदा भी है. एंड रशिया इज ऑल्सो बिल्डिंग ओके न्यूक्लियर पावर प्लांट इन कुडमकुलम, ओके, विच इज इन तमिलनाडु, विच इज हैविंग ए कैपेसिटी ऑफ 6000 मेगावाट. ये पूरा प्लांट है. अभी 2000 मेगावाट ऑलरेडी ऑपरेशन में, एंड ऑलरेडी इसका फ्यूल सप्लाई रशिया कर रहा है. वाई इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट? बिकॉज इंडिया के ऊपर बहुत सारे रेस्ट्रिक्शंस है. आपका एनपीटी का रेस्ट्रिक्शंस, एनर्जी का रेस्ट्रिक्शंस बहुत सारा है. दैट्स व्हाई इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट टू नोट डाउन. नाउ नेक्स्ट ओके विल बी एंटरिंग इनटू द ईस्टर्न पार्ट ओवर हियर. नाउ 4 मेन आइलैंड्स ऑफ जापान, ओके, होकाइडो, होन्शू, शिकोकू, क्योशू. ये चारों रिमेंबर करना. समटाइम दे कैन आस्क द ऑर्डर फ्रॉम नॉर्थ टू south. And Japan has numerous islands. It's an volcanic archipelago. Means when the Pacific Ocean is undergoing subduction, so volcanic archipelagos are created. It is such archipelago. Next, just now we have discussed Kuril Islands. अभी नदर्न पार्ट ऑफ जापान में यहाँ पे देखो आप, यहाँ पे एक स्ट्रेच दिख रहा है, आर्किपेलागो स्ट्रेच. सो दिस आर दिस कुरिल आइलैंड्स जस्ट अबव होकाइडो. So these are under conflict. अभी ऐसे आइलैंड्स जो है वोल्केनिक आर्किपेलागो जो है, why they'll be in conflict? Because these are newly formed. They don't have a very long history of occupation. अभी जापान के किसी राजा के किताब में लिखा होगा कि भाई हमने ये सब रूल किया। तो रशिया कभी पावरफुल हुआ करता था, उनके इसमें में किताबों में लिखा कि हम रूल करते थे। तो दोनों ही क्लेम करते हैं। सो एज इन व्हेन द कंट्रीज बिकम पावरफुल, मोर एम्बिशियस, वहाँ पे रिसोर्सेज बहुत सारा है, साइंटिफिकली इवॉल्व होते हैं या पॉपुलेशन बढ़ रहा है, देन दे विल स्टार्ट एंक्रोचिंग अपॉन, तब ये आइलैंड्स जो है एक कॉन्फ्लिक्ट में आता है। ऐसे आइलैंड्स और बहुत सारे हैं, विल सी। सो सेनाकाकू आइलैंड है, सो यहाँ पे छोटा सा आइलैंड है। सो एज ऑफ नाउ इट इज अंडर द कंट्रोल ऑफ जापान, लेकिन अभी चाइना क्लेम कर रहा है इसको। चाइना बोल रहा है कि ये हमारा है। ऑलरेडी यूपीएससी में एक बार पूछा है। इट्स ऑल्सो कॉल्ड एज सेनाकाकू आइलैंड, चाइना बोलता है इसको डियागो आइलैंड। नाउ लुक एट द ओके लोकेशन हियर, ओके ताइवान, ओके ताइवान से भी ज्यादा दूर नहीं है, ये भी क्लेम कर रहा है। सो दिस आर द वेरियस नेम्स ऑफ दिस आइलैंड। ओके, ऑलरेडी इट हैज बीन आस्क्ड, अगेन डोंट अननेसेसरली रीड। नाउ यू सी नानकाई ट्रफ, now it is known for mega thrust earthquakes. So just now I told you यहाँ पे जो Pacific plate है, it is undergoing subduction. It is known for unleashing massive earthquakes. So it is because of the collision between, यहाँ पे नीचे Philippines plate है, Philippine plates और Eurasian plate में collision है. So because of that it is highly prone to the earthquakes, mega thrust earthquakes. Okay, मतलब okay 9 के ऊपर on the Richter scale you'll be getting earthquakes here, and it can also unleash very large tsunamis. So in fact 2011 में जो tsunami आई थी, it's because of this only. So that's why the eastern coast of Japan is highly vulnerable to a lot of disasters. Next you see an island over here, Minatorishima Island. So it is very far away, दूर है यहाँ पे। एंड अगर ये आइलैंड आपका है, इस आइलैंड के अराउंड जो EEZ है, एक्सक्लूसिव इकोनॉमिक जोन, इट विल बिलोंग टू यू। दैट्स व्हाई चाइना विल बी क्लेमिंग लॉट ऑफ आइलैंड्स। एंड ओके, सारे ही कंट्रीज जहाँ पे भी आइलैंड मिल रहा है उनको क्लेम कर रहे हैं। EEZ मीन्स अराउंड 200 नॉटिकल माइल्स तक जितने भी रिसोर्सेस है यू कैन एक्सट्रैक्ट। Now here rare earth metals deposits also have been discovered, manganese nodules also have been discovered. वैसे ये नाम आएगा तो you'll be able to okay what connect it with Japan, ज़्यादा दिक्कत नहीं होगी, बस लोकेशन एक बार देख लेना, ये पैसिफिक ओशन में है। Now let's get into China over here. So China has 3-step geography. So इस तरफ देखो, ये पूरा प्लेन्स है, लो लाइंग एरियाज। ओके, ये सेकंड स्टेप है यहाँ पे, दिस इज अ सेकंड स्टेप, थोड़ा बहुत प्लेट्यूज वगैरह होंगे। सो ये ऊपर वाला स्टेप है जहाँ पे हाई माउंटेन्स एंड हाई प्लेट्यूज होंगे। यू सी हियर, सो दिस इज द ग्रेट हिमालयस। सो यहाँ पे यू विल बी हैविंग कुल्लुनशान हिमालयस, दिस इज टियान शान, एंड यहाँ पे अल्टाई माउंटेन्स है। दिस आर द 4 इंपॉर्टेंट माउंटेन्स। ओके, बाकी सब माउंटेन्स ऐसे ध्यान मत रखना। So they can ask you, where is the Tibetan plateau located? So Tibetan plateau is located between Kulnun Shan and Himalayas. And you have this Tarim basin. यहाँ पे Tarim basin है. So Tarim basin is located between Tian Shan and Kulnun Shan. So we'll discuss this further. So let's see this 3-step staircase. So this is the Tibetan plateau. It is the world's highest plateau. Now why it is okay highest? Because of a phenomenon called as double crusting. Means Indian plate के ऊपर यहाँ पे Eurasian plate है और double crust की तरह act करता है, so that's why it is so tall. Now what is the importance of this? So you have this massive around 4 kilometer height में plateau है, 4000 meter height में है. So because of the thin atmosphere it gets heated up fast. जब ये heat होता है so यहाँ पे you'll be having a lot of rising air rise करता है. So when the air rises swiftly, it will be creating a low pressure. जब यहाँ पे low pressure create होगा, then monsoonal winds, southwest monsoonal winds will be gushing into this subcontinent. So it will be acting as a driver for the South Asian monsoons. वैसे ये geography में पढ़ोगे. And since it is a highland, therefore you'll be having a lot of glaciers also, lot of water bodies. Therefore, it will be acting as a source of lot of important rivers such as Brahmaputra, Indus, Satluj, etc. So, between these two, you see, okay, you have this Tarim Basin. So, Tarim Basin में Taklamakan Desert है. So why you have a desert in between? Because दोनों तरफ mountains है, it is enclosed from all the sides. So none of the winds, अगर यहाँ से भी हवा है, यहाँ से भी हवा है, so none of the monsoon bearing winds will be able to enter inside that and give rainfall. Okay, so it is the कहीं से भी देखो, so that is in the rain shadow region. So it is again important for Belt and Road Initiative of China. So next one, okay, in this region you have the steppes also. So the steppes, okay, they are there in Russia, Ukraine, Kazakhstan. You also have this eastern steppes. Now, how come the steppes has been created? See, steppe is nothing but this is the temperate grassland. Temperate grassland. See, grasslands are created because of the scarcity of rainfall or water. अगर यहाँ पे बारिश ज़्यादा है ना, it will also be converted into forest. Now this grassland has been created because of continentality, because the westerlies won't be able to give rainfall in the continental interiors. And these steppes, they are very vast, plain area है, they are very important for agriculture. यहाँ पे soil जो है बहुत fertile होती है, यहाँ पे barley, okay, sunflower, soya, सब कुछ grow होता है. And India also imports a lot of goods from this region. So that's why they are important. So because of continentality, okay, the rainfall doesn't enter, and precipitation is around 25 to 50 centimeter. And they have a very fertile soil called as Chernozem, also called as black earth, remember this. And they're also called as bread baskets of the world, okay. And they produce a lot of wheat, maize, okay, barley. So India का interest क्या है? Sunflower oil. You might be thinking that sunflower oil India में grow होता है. No. Most of the sunflower, more than 90% of the sunflower, India imports. Almost 100% of the palm oil India imports. More than again, okay, 90% of soya oil also India imports. ये तीनों India बहुत import करता है. Next, this is also important for livestock and pastoralism. And Mongolia में, okay, you have a wool called as Kashmiri wool. And these plains, okay, also played a very important role in the Mongol Empire. आपने सुना होगा मंगोल के पास बहुत सारे घोड़े हुआ करते थे. Because of the vast fields, they'll be able to travel very swiftly, very fastly, and they'll be able to, okay, hunt or fight very well. So इसका geopolitical importance है, okay, पुराने ज़माने में. So now it is very important for the China's old Silk Road revive कर रहा है. Very important for the Belt and Road initiatives, and also, okay, plays a very important role in carrying the natural gas from Central Asia. So next, अभी first step हो गया, अभी second step देखो. So you have this Loess Plateau and Sichuan Basin, these two locations. So these may not be that important from the examination perspective. So it's also called as Red Basin, protected by the mountains from all the sides. Now this Loess Plateau which is there is highly fertile but easily erodable. Okay, it is China's agricultural regions. इतना नहीं पूछेगा China का agricultural regions के बारे में. So this is the first step. Okay, यहाँ पे desert and oasis, Tibetan Plateau. Okay, this is the second step, and this is the third step. So 3 steps है. So North China plain. Now Chinese plains are very important. Okay, China के जो rivers है, they are draining here. They are very fertile. They are very important for agriculture. And agriculture अगर important है, so civilization भी important होगा. And इस side जो है Manchurian plains है. So Manchurian plains is also called as the industrial belt, rust belt, because for the first time in China, a lot of iron ore, okay, and coal has been found in this region. So that's why the first iron and steel industries have been developed here, and iron and steel industries in most parts of the world is the driver of the industrial revolution. You see the rivers over here, 3 rivers of China. You have this Yangtze River. So Yangtze River means आपका, okay, the Beijing वाला part जो है, that is the Yangtze River. So it contributes a lot, and 3 gorgeous dam जो है इसके ऊपर है. Then you have the Yellow River. Yellow River मतलब आपकी Shanghai. Okay, Shanghai city वहाँ पे है. Okay, so it's also called as the mother of rivers. Okay, China's sorrow because of excessive flooding. Of course, for irrigation it will be important. The Pearl River. The Pearl River के mouth में ना, okay, you have all this, Hong Kong, Shenzhen, Guangzhou. So these are the manufacturing belts. बहुत सारे SCZ है यहाँ पे, Guangzhou River. So remember these three rivers of China, again not in the news but static content. Next you have the Altai mountains here. So these are the high fold mountains. What is the significance? So it will be acting as a watershed, means Altai mountains के इस तरफ जो water आ रहा है, that will be going into the Pacific. इस तरफ जो है, okay, that will be moving towards the western part. So it will be acting as a water divide and rich in gold, copper and rare earth minerals. Remember this Altai. There's the Gobi Desert. Again the Gobi Desert is creator of continentality. So just आपने देखा कि यहाँ पे कजाकिस्तान रशिया में क्या है, यहाँ पे ग्रासलैंड है, ग्रासलैंड, एंड इस तरफ क्या है, फॉरेस्ट है. And this is from where you have this westerly winds. The westerly winds will be picking up moisture from the Atlantic. So ज़्यादा बारिश यहाँ पे होगा, फॉरेस्ट है. बारिश और कम हो जाएगा, ग्रासलैंड है. यहाँ पे बारिश और भी कम हो जाएगा. So that's why you have a desert. It's a Gobi Desert. It's a cold desert. So this Gobi Desert, okay, is between Mongolia and China, and this phenomena is called as continentality. So continentality means any feature, okay, climate, okay, or biodiversity is because of sheer large size of the continent. So continent large होने की वजह से उसके बीच में जो changes आते हैं, so that phenomena is called as continentality. And it contains a lot of copper, etc. Okay, you don't have to remember all this. अभी news में नहीं है. Okay, it's famous for yellow dust storms. So next one you see here, Aral Sea आपको दिख रहा है. You see Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan. Okay, so we'll be looking into the Central Asian region. So Central Asian region, okay, has been always important. यहाँ से भी question पूछा गया है. Now you see the Caspian Sea here. The Caspian Sea का coast ईरान के साथ है, and if you're talking about the Central Asian countries, so तुर्कमेनिस्तान से है and Kazakhstan से है. उज़्बेकिस्तान का border नहीं है. Okay, only these two countries have. And Caspian Sea is also known for a lot of oil and gas. And Caspian Sea in reality it is not sea. क्योंकि यहाँ पे seabed नहीं है. Okay, it is just the continental landmass और depression है. Okay, low lying continental landmass है, उसमें पानी आ गया. Okay, it is salt divide is salty. अगर sea नहीं तो salty क्यों है? Because this is a dry region. Dry region में evaporation बहुत होता है. So over a period of time, over years, the evaporation has happened. And dilution बहुत कम हुआ है, बहुत सारे rivers आके नहीं मिलते हैं, ज़्यादा rainfall नहीं होता है. So that's why the salinity in this salinity in the sea has increased. The sea is a misnomer here. In Central Asia, we have the Pamir. The Pamir is a knot. The Pamir is also an intermountain plateau. From Pamir, the Tian Shan, Kunlun Shan, Karakoram, Himalayas, and Hindu Kush, all these mountains radiate out like fingers. Now, Tian Shan is also acting as a water divide between the Xinjiang province of China, okay, where a lot of Muslims, Uyghur Muslims are there, and the Central Asia. Now, one very important river, okay, which flows from the Tian Shan is the Amu Darya river, very important river, which we'll be discussing. And the Pamir also has Fedchenko Glacier. It's the longest glacier in the world outside the polar regions. And India also has a base called as Farkhor Air Base. It used to have, okay. It is also called as Aini Air Base. So when USSR was there, okay, the USSR had given permission to India, and the India has established, but now it is not under operation. Now, Karakum Desert, Turkmenistan is very important because from Turkmenistan, India was supposed to get gas through a pipeline called as Tapi pipeline, which hasn't been actualized. So it is on the coast of the Caspian Sea, and Caspian Sea, I told you, okay, it has a lot of oil and gas reserves, especially gas. Now, since it has got a lot of gas, so some gas leakage in the desert, this Karakum Desert, has led to fire. And this fire was burning for a very long period of time. And this used to act as a very important tourist destination. But the government, the Turkmenistan government has shut it down. आग को बुझा दिया ताकि gas water से कुछ accident ना हो. Now you have Kaizelkum Desert. So Kaizelkum Desert is in Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan border. Then it is known for having uranium and gold deposit. And remember, Kazakhstan is very famous for uranium deposits. These two rivers are important. The Sirdarya, which is coming from the Tian Shan, and Amudarya, which comes from the Pamir Knot. Now both of them will be flowing into a sea called as Aral Sea. So these two rivers have inland drainage. But because of the construction of series of dams for irrigation purpose, because this region is dry, so the people live here, they need water. These rivers are important sources of water, but the rivers have been abused, excessively used. That's why 90% of the Aral Sea, okay, has been shrunk. And this also has been asked in the examination previously. Now, these are the lifelines, these two rivers, okay, of Central Asia. And this will be creating a desert called as Aral Kum Desert. So whenever, okay, in the examination Kum comes, that means it is the desert from Central Asia. Now this is a man-made desert. Why? Because of the excessive dryness, okay, the water which is supposed to come here has not come, and it has created desert. Okay, that's why it is the man-made desert which is created in the Aral Sea called as Aral Kum. Now Rogun Dam, okay, so there are so many dams built over here. One very important dam is Rogun Dam on Vaksh River. Recently it is in the news. You see the Vaksh River over here, so this is a Vaksh River, is a tributary of Amudarya. Now if this dam is completed, it will become the world's tallest dam, okay. So it will be made in Tajikistan, and it will become a major electricity exporter to Afghanistan and Pakistan. Next, Fergana Valley. Now, this Central Asia is mostly either it is a grassland or it is a desert. So this area which you see, the junction between Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan, so it has greenery. So यहाँ पे थोड़ा बहुत पानी है, greenery है. So यहाँ पे बहुत सारे लोग भी रहते हैं. अभी पूरे रेगिस्तान में या ग्रासलैंड में थोड़ा बहुत पानी मिलता है, थोड़ा बहुत फर्टाइल लैंड मिलती है, तो उसके लिए फिर लड़ाई होती है. So this region is highly prone to conflicts. So remember Fergana Valley. Now one of the regions, okay, ये सब याद करने की जरूरत नहीं है. Just remember Batken region. यहाँ पे दिख रहा है आपको Batken. So this Batken region is into conflict. अब ये Batken region क्या है? Now there are some enclaves over here. Say Voruk दिख रहा है आपको Voruk. So Voruk is the enclave of Tajikistan in Kyrgyzstan. You would see two more regions, Sok region. Sok यहाँ पे दिख रहा है. And Shoyi Mardan. These two are the territories of Uzbekistan in Kyrgyzstan. So this much detail they will not be asking. Okay, third level के detail में नहीं पहुंचेगा. So remember Batken region, remember Fergana Valley. So this is unlikely. मैं आपको ये भी जो भी मैंने यहाँ पे arrange किया है या priority wise arrange किया है, जो भी मैं important बोल रहा हूँ, please okay remember that. Now just now I told you Kazakhstan is very important for uranium. इंडिया के न्यूक्लियर प्रोग्राम के लिए बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है. सो यहाँ पे वर्ल्ड का अराउंड 12 to 15% ऑफ यूरेनियम डिपॉजिट्स है. एंड व्हेन इट कम्स टू उज्बेकिस्तान एंड ताजिकिस्तान, कॉपर, लिथियम, रेयर अर्थ मेटल्स. अगेन यू मे नॉट रिमेंबर, रिमेंबर काजाकिस्तान एंड यूरेनियम. एंड तुर्कमेनिस्तान, इंडिया में जो तापी पाइपलाइन आने वाली थी, सो कहाँ से आने वाली है? You have a gas field called as Galkanish gas field. Remember this because it is important for Tapi pipeline. And of course, we have discussed the international north-south corridor. and okay, of course, the goods will be going from here. So next you have, see, right now the state of Hormuz, okay, Hormuz is under crisis, okay, in the Persian Gulf. That's why China is looking for the alternative routes. Okay, so in this context of the Persian Gulf War, so this might become important, Central Asian Middle Corridor. So of the many routes, okay, the China is looking for alternatives. So this is one of the important route. Next, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, SCO. So SCO को summit हुआ था, okay, meeting हुई थी. Now, geography point of view, they might ask you the members here. So remember one, okay, country, जितने भी Central Asian countries है, वो सारे ही part है, एक छोड़ के, Turkmenistan, remember this also, Turkmenistan will not be part of any such kind of grouping. वो military neutrality maintain करता चाहता है. Okay, so that's why अगर आप options में से तुर्कमेनिस्तान को निकाल दे, then आपकी आंसर आ जाएगा. Now SCO members, India and Pakistan are the members, and recent addition to this is Belarus. Why Belarus? Belarus because of Russia. Belarus Russia का बहुत अच्छा दोस्त है, and recently Iran also has become the member. अभी देखना चाइना ने क्या किया, इंडिया और पाकिस्तान को एक ही साथ मेंबरशिप दिया. That means it wants to hyphenate India with Pakistan, and बाकी सारे ही स्थान से except Turkmenistan. Okay, you can remember that way. Again इसका रोल क्या है, आप इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस में देखो, नहीं को यहाँ पे देख लो. So next, Aini Air Base, which I told you, Tajikistan, India has closed it down. Next, India, Kyrgyzstan agreed to strengthen counter-terrorism operations. So, दोनों के बीच में bilateral talks हुए थे. Now, okay, यहाँ पे कुछ mapping perspective से कोई importance नहीं है. Just remember, it is the member of SCO. So next, let's go to Southeast Asia. Now look at the topography of Southeast Asia. Now this is Indonesia. So Indonesia has numerous archipelagos because इस तरफ क्या है? इस तरफ you have the Indo-Austral plate है, Indo-Austral, and this is all, ये पूरा Eurasian plate है, Eurasian plate, and towards this you have Pacific plate. And within this Eurasian plate, you have numerous microplates, okay, and mini plates also. For example, here you have the Philippines plate, right? You have Bird's Eye plate. Like, ऐसे बहुत सारे numerous plates है. They keep interacting with each other. And if the oceanic plate or the sea plate, if it is undergoing subduction, so you'll be having volcanic island arc. And that's why it has numerous volcanic island arcs. And one of the trenches which is very important here is, this is called as the Java Sunda Trench. Okay, so this we'll discuss. Now see, this is called as Arakan Yoma and Pegu Yoma. So this is the Arakan Yoma and Pegu Yoma. It is nothing but the extension of the Himalayas. And this further extends as Andaman and Nicobar group of islands. So here it has formed a mountain. Kyun? Because it is an interaction between the continental crust and continental crust. यहाँ पे it is an interaction between oceanic crust and oceanic crust. यहाँ पे छोटा सा एक plate है. This is called as the Burmese plate. Right? So that's why here you have volcanic archipelagos formed, and here you have a mountain formed. So this is Arakan Yoma and Pegu Yoma. So Arakan Yoma and Pegu Yoma, okay, which is predominantly there in Myanmar, and also it forms a boundary between India and Myanmar. It plays a very important role in diverting the monsoonal winds into India. The southwest monsoonal winds, Bay of Bengal branch आती है, it will come and hit here, and then it is further diverted into India. And यहाँ पे आपको जितने भी ये lowlands दिख रहे हैं, lowlands में rivers होंगे, two important rivers. So यहाँ पे lowland दिख रहा है आपको, this one. This is the Irrawaddy river, okay, very important. And here you find a lowland here. This is a Mekong river. The Mekong river is important because of Mekong Ganga cooperation. And famous question ये पूछ सकता है, which of the following countries are part of Mekong Ganga cooperation? यहाँ पे जितने भी countries है, okay, सबसे okay this Mekong river passes and they are the members of that. Okay, next you have Annamite range. So इस तरफ okay आपको दिख रहा है okay this range. So this range is called as the Annamite range. So it is a rugged terrain okay which is in Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia. So this will be acting as a rain shadow region. इस तरफ थोड़ा rain shadow region है okay. So इतना ही okay इतना important नहीं है, don't remember this. But one very important thing over here, you have Prasad Periya Vihar. So Prasad Periya Vihar is a temple okay. So this temple has been under conflict between Thailand and Cambodia. So temple दिख रहा है कि it is looking as if it is on the border, but this Periya Vihar temple is in Cambodia. ये Thailand भी accept करता है. But recently a lot of skirmishes happen. बहुत सारे border में okay what skirmishes हुए थे. Why? If you look at here, see border, how the border is decided okay. So generally the crest line watershed is considered. ये पहाड़ का ऊपर का हिस्सा है crest line. So पहाड़ के ऊपर के हिस्से में ये टेम्पल है. So if you go by the watershed principle, it should be belonging to Thailand. लेकिन एक कंबोडिया के कंट्रोल में है. So Thailand भी accept करता है, but recently okay, there have been a lot of skirmishes. So this is also UNESCO World Heritage Site. Next, you have one more okay temple over here which is on the border called as Prasad Ta Moyan Thom. Okay, remember these two. And if you want to remember Anses also. There is a border crossing in Periya Vihar province. So this much deep they won't get. So at max they will be asking about Periya Vihar temple only, not beyond that. Then you have the Shan Plateau over here, okay, which is between Burma and Thailand. So इंडिया में जैसे छोटा नागपुर प्लेट्यू है, धारवाड़ प्लेट्यू है. So these are the very old rocks. Okay, these were the batholiths which have been exposed and they have been eroded. And जब भी batholiths expose होके erode होते हैं, they are called as shield regions. These shield regions are rich in metalliferous minerals. So इसमें minerals बहुत सारे हैं. And also okay these okay regions are very famous for okay this golden triangle. So next okay again this region is important for India, Myanmar and Thailand highway. So India में Moreh crossing you remember, Moreh crossing Manipur is burning, that's why okay the Moreh is important. Okay. Next, this region is also important because now for connecting the northeast it becomes very problematic, because if the goods has to go to Aizawl okay or Agartala, you have to go through all the way through the Chicken Neck. And यहाँ पे China okay China का भी border है यहाँ पे. Now China okay in the very recent future it will acquire the high ridges. यहाँ पे high ridges पे आके बैठ जाएगा, because most probably it is going to swap the land okay in Bhutan. अगर China यहाँ पे आके बैठ गया, it will get a vantage point and वहाँ से missiles fire करना okay observation रखना बहुत ही easy हो जाएगा. And this will become okay India's what weakness. That's why India is exploring various opportunities okay to connect to the northeast. And northeast के development के लिए एक connectivity is very important, because before independence this was all contiguous region. ये पूरा contiguous region था. In fact before independence the per capita income of the northeast was higher than rest of the India, but अभी कम हो गया because of lack of connectivity. Now anyways India is going for the Act East policy. Just now आपने देखा था okay IMT highway. So इसके through northeast का development हो सकता है. And India is trying various routes. So India directly okay अगरतला को ऐसे connect करने की कोशिश कर रहा है through waterways, roadways and railways. And one such connectivity is called as Kaladan project. So Kaladan project में the goods will be going from Kolkata, Sitwe port in Myanmar, and वहाँ से river way है, Kaladan river है. Through Kaladan river they will going to Paletwa, and Paletwala se, okay, it will go to Zorinpuri border crossing, okay, which is there in India, and from there through highway it will be going to Aizawl. So this will be the multi-modal project of India. Next, these are the various provinces of Myanmar, and two provinces are important, called as the Xinjiang and Chin. Sagyang and Chin provinces, because they are bordering Mizoram and Manipur. See, abhi Myanmar mein you have the military junta rule. So a military junta rule hone ke karan the people are not that happy, and the people of Xinjiang, okay, they have revolted, and a revolt जो है एक single leadership के under नहीं है, it is distributed, quite distributed, and काफी okay mountainous region है, and the individual tribes here, okay, who are not under the control of one person, they are revolting against the Myanmarese army. It has become a very big headache to the Myanmarese military junta government, and there is a chance that, okay, from the Xinjiang and Chin province, these militants can spill over into India. So already Manipur is problematic. अगर यहाँ से, okay, म्यांमार के साइड से उनको भगा दिया जाए तो इंडिया में आ जाएंगे. Okay, so that's why remember this. Also, it has a border with Nagaland as well as Arunachal Pradesh. ये पूरे border states है. That's why remember these two provinces. Next, this is Sunda Java Trench. So because of this trench, you have numerous volcanic island arcs over here. So ये जितने भी हैं यहाँ पे बहुत सारे volcanoes हैं, and ये जो छोटे-छोटे islands यहाँ पे दिख रहे हैं, this is nothing but the accretionary prism, which you'll study in geography. These are not volcanic in nature. So these are made up of marine sediments. Means जब यहाँ पे ocean plate, when it will be undergoing subduction, the ocean plate के ऊपर जितने भी sediments होंगे, okay, कीचड़ जैसा चीज होगा, that will be, okay, plastered against, okay, the Eurasian plate, and if they become more, okay, quantity अगर ज़्यादा हो जाएगा, पानी के ऊपर उठेगा, and this is called as accretionary prism. Now here, what is the socio-economic significance here? So whenever you have these volcanoes, the soil will become very fertile. One of the uses of the volcanoes is the soil becomes very fertile, and the soil of Java is extremely fertile because it's almost completely made up of the volcanic, okay, soil, volcanic ash से बना हुआ है. That's why it is fertile. Whereas Java is the continental island. So continental island के ऊपर थोड़ा बहुत volcanoes है, लेकिन Java fully है. So that's why Java has population. Java supports a lot of population, and Java also has or had, okay, the capital called as Jakarta. So Sumatra बड़ा island है, but Sumatra में इतना population नहीं है क्योंकि Java बहुत fertile है as compared to Sumatra. Now here, okay, Mount Sumeru, okay, recently it has undergone eruption. So let's see some of the important volcanoes which you have to remember here. So Jakarta आपको दिख रहा है Java में. So this is Sumatra Island. So this is Java Island. यहाँ पे Bali Island है. यहाँ पे Lombok Island है. So 4 islands you remember. And of course Kalimantan. This is also called as Borneo. So these islands you remember. And in Sumatra और Java का बीच में, okay, आपका अटलस में नहीं होगा ये, अब मार्क कर लेना Mount Krakatau. So Mount Krakatau had a very huge explosion. So remember this, okay? Mount Sumeru recently had eruption, okay? Remember this, okay? The rest of the things you can ignore. So आपके टेक्स्ट बुक्स में वगैरह Mount Tambora एक्सेट्रा होगा, वो पुराना न्यूज़ है, नया नहीं है. But यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है? Jakarta is undergoing submergence, so that's why they are shifting the capital from Jakarta to this Kalimantan, Eastern Kalimantan, Borneo में shift कर रहा है. Next, recently Sumatra had a lot of floods, so that is also in the news. Next, so आपने just Lombok Island देखा था, Lombok Strait है, Sunda Strait है, and of course the Strait of Malacca. So because of the Hormuz Strait is in the news, so they might give you, okay, 4 states and match the following करेगा और पूछेगा कि यहाँ पे कितने matches correct है. So next, this is the Strait of Malacca, which is there between, this is Malay Peninsula, ये जो दिख रहा है आपको, ये Malay Peninsula है, and this is Sumatra. ये दोनों के बीच में Strait of Malacca है. So this is Sumatra and this is Java. And Sumatra और Java के बीच में you have the Sunda Strait है, and this is the Lombok Strait. So remember these three straits. And Indonesia and Malaysia, if you look at this region, it is very important for the production of the palm oil, because equator, यहाँ कहीं से गुजरता है. So these are on the northern and southern side of the equator. So this has equatorial type of climate, and rainfall is heavy. Almost 300 days a year यहाँ पे rainfall होती है. So that's why it is very much suitable for the growth of the palm oil. So यहाँ पे palm oil का growth होती है, and almost 100% of the palm oil in India is imported. And now the government has come up with a scheme to grow palm oil in India also. It is giving a lot of subsidies. So all these things are in the news. So that's why I'm discussing this. And next, Indonesia has nickel hegemony. Remember this. 50% of the nickel of the world is there in Indonesia. So I say cheese, okay, if any country is dominating in any reserve, then most probably it will be us in the examination. Next, Southeast Asia में 60% of the global tin reserves है. So next, you see the port over here called as Sabang port. Okay, so India is helping to develop this port. See, अभी आपने देखा है, okay, हॉर्मुज के क्राइसिस में स्ट्रेट्स कितने इंपॉर्टेंट होते हैं. So most of the goods towards China, as of now, they are going through this Malacca Strait. अगर इंडिया को चाइना को डराना है, then India's presence in this region is very important. Already India is building a lot of ports in Andaman Nicobar. Plus, यहाँ पे Sabang में भी India sponsor कर रहा है, so that it can have a overview of the Strait of Malacca. So the Sabang, okay, ज़्यादा दूर नहीं है. It is just nautical miles from this Nicobar, Great Nicobar Island. Next, Prime Minister's visit to Malaysia. You can see Malaysia here. So Malaysia is located in Malay Peninsula and also in the Borneo Island. So Borneo Island, okay, this large island which you see, it is shared between Indonesia, Malaysia, and the small oil-rich state called as Brunei. Now Malaysia, it produces 25% of the palm oil, okay, in Indonesia 65%. And यहाँ पे Strait of Malacca भी है. And आपको ये दिख रहा है यहाँ पे छोटा सा Malay Peninsula में. See, one route towards China is this Strait of Malacca. लेकिन the China is planning for the alternative route. The China has planned many alternative routes. यहाँ पे जो सितवे पोर्ट है, so यहाँ से भी China, okay, it is building roadways, railways, pipelines, etc. Now, Malay Peninsula में, the China is trying to build, it is trying to cut across this Malay Peninsula and create a water channel. So just like the Suez Canal or just like your Panama Canal. So यहाँ से भी China के लिए goods जाएंगे, and this will be called as Thai Canal or it will be called as Kra Canal. Okay, remember these two names. So this is the Kra Isthmus or or Kra Canal. Okay, it will be reducing the distance and also make easy for China. Next, some of the locations which are in the news over here. So in South China Sea, you have three groups of islands. You have Paracel group here, Spratly group. The Paracel and Spratly group, these are under conflict because China has drawn this 9 dash line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. अभी recently China ने 10th dash line, this is the 10th dash line we draw किया है, by which it will be claiming the Taiwan also. यहाँ पे जो island दिख रहा है, ये Taiwan है. So by drawing this 9 dash line, the China is claiming the entire South China Sea, and by claiming these islands, अगर ये islands को claim कर लिया, इसके अंदर, इसके okay around EZ जो area है, जितने भी mineral resources है, the China will claim according to UNCLOS, though China is not part of the UNCLOS. एंड जो स्कारबरो शोल जो दिख रहा है ना यहाँ पे, दिस इज नॉट नेचुरल, दिस इज आर्टिफिशियल। ये तो नेचुरल आइलैंड्स है, इसको चाइना ने क्लेम कर लिया। अभी फिलीपींस की तरफ कोई भी आइलैंड नहीं था, तो चाइना ने क्या किया, वहां पे एक आर्टिफिशियल आइलैंड बनाया, अपना झंडा गाड़ा, बोला कि ये हमारा है, सो देयरफॉर जितना भी साउथ चाइना सी हमारा हो जाएगा। सो रिमेंबर दिस, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। सो नेक्स्ट यू सी दिस ब्लॉक 128। So South China Sea has a lot of reserves, especially oil reserves है। ये जितने भी यहाँ पे आपको ब्लॉक्स दिख रहे हैं ना, ये ऑयल एंड गैस के हैं। एंड दिस ब्लॉक 128 ऑफ द कोस्ट ऑफ वियतनाम, OVL, ONGC Videsh Limited, okay, India has got access to it. India has a stake over here. So India is mining the oil here. And 9 dash line के इस तरफ कौन है, चाइना है। सो इंडिया चाइना का भी कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है। सो नेक्स्ट, द चाइनीज शिप्स हैव रैम्ड इनटू 3 फिलीपींस फिशरीज वेसल्स नियर थीतू आइलैंड। अब इस स्पार्टली आइलैंड में, स्पार्टली इज अ ग्रुप ऑफ आइलैंड्स, इसमें एक आइलैंड है थीतू आइलैंड। सो फिलीपींस कुछ फिशरमैन को मदद करने के लिए अपना शिप भेजा था, तो चाइना ने आके अटैक कर दिया। तो चाइना ने बोला भाई ये तो पूरा हमारा है, how can you come inside it? So remember Titu Island, which is part of Spratly. So just now I discussed the Scarborough Shoal. The Scarborough Shoal is an artificial island. So China is planning to establish a national nature reserve. Obviously Philippines oppose करेगा because उसके side में है। Next, remember this Natuna Islands. The Natuna Islands, it belongs to Indonesia. सो अगर इंडोनेशिया का आइलैंड है, उसके अराउंड जो EEZ है, दैट शुड बी बिलोंगिंग टू इंडोनेशिया। बट चाइना ने क्या किया, चाइना ने अपना ही 9 डैश लाइन ड्रॉ किया। सो उससे क्या हो रहा है, दो इंडोनेशिया की एक्सेस है थ्रू टू द साउथ चाइना सी, इट हैज reduced. Then you have Timor-Leste Island, it will be joining ASEAN. अभी तिमोर लेस्ते इसी रीजन में है, आपको लग रहा होगा पहले क्यों नहीं ज्वाइन किया, बिकॉज तिमोर लेस्ते ऑल्सो कॉल्ड एज ईस्ट तिमोर, सो इट वॉज अर्लियर पार्ट ऑफ इंडोनेशिया, लेकिन तिमोर लेस्ते इज क्रिश्चियन, ओके, तो इट गॉट सेपरेटेड फ्रॉम इंडोनेशिया। इंडोनेशिया इज प्रिडोमिनेंटली मुस्लिम, सो पहले सेपरेट हो गया था। सो दैट्स वाई अर्लियर तिमोर लेस्ते और ईस्ट तिमोर वॉज नॉट part of Indonesia, ASEAN. Now it has become the part. Next, you have few more things over here which are important. See, Palawan. यहाँ पे आपको दिख रहा है Palawan. The Palawan is a western Philippine island that is strategically relevant because of it faces the South China Sea, and of course you have this 9 dash line here. That's where remember Palawan, and of course you have the Luzon Strait here. The Luzon Strait, it separates Philippines, northern Philippine Islands with Taiwan. So this northern Philippine Island is called as Luzon, and ऊपर Taiwan है, remember these two. And then you have this reed bank. Again reed bank, it comes into conflict in the South China Sea. So it is submerged in northwest Palawan inside the Philippines EEZ, and important because it is tied to South China Sea. So यहाँ पे जितने भी islands है which have been recently in the news, please remember those names. So next you have this Luzon Strait, just now we have seen, and in this Luzon Strait you also have this Bashi Channel. So remember all this. So next, this is the Coral Triangle. So it is just 1.6% of the world's ocean area, but it is home to 76% of all the known corals. So this is there in Southeast Asia. And corals जो है ना, they'll be there in the tropical regions. The tropical regions में अगर shallow water है, then most probably you'll be having the corals. Let's come to Sri Lanka here. Sri Lanka has recently faced a cyclone called as Cyclone Ditwa cyclone. And India का एक operation हुआ था called as Operation Sagar Bandhu. So cyclone Ditwa में उतने strong winds नहीं थे. So despite not having very strong winds, the destruction was very high because the Sri Lanka has a lot of plantation agriculture. Okay, and because of which it has lost a lot of forest. And thoda bahut barish hua, it has led to a lot of landslides. And Sri Lanka जो eastern, north and eastern part है, this part has been highly affected. And इस part में बहुत सारे Tamilians है. So that's why, okay, or otherwise also India would have sent the help. So some ports are very important over here, okay. Colombo port, okay. So Colombo port में already China का presence है, but India is also building a port. अदानी जी एक port build कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे, West Container Terminal. Next you see Hambantota port here Hambantota. So this is an example, classic example of the Chinese debt trap diplomacy. Means China पैसा देता है infrastructure construct करने के लिए, अगर वो profitable नहीं होता, फिर वो China ले लेता है. So it's kind of neo-colonialism. You have one more port here, Trichonamali Harbour. It is one of the most important eastern ports. So then you have Kanakasanthrai port. So Kanakasanthrai is Jaffna, northern part, जहाँ पे बहुत सारे Tamilians है. So it was actually a small island, okay, which have been used by the fishermen. So Sri Lanka के India के दोनों के fishermen अपने nets को dry करने के लिए use करते थे, but India has given away this island to Sri Lanka. So that's why it is important. So remember these ports because these are very important ports, okay, the world level. Transshipment ports है, जो भी ships यहाँ से गुजरती है, so they take a halt over here. Now India is also building such kind of port in Great Nicobar Island. So उसके direct competitors है. So that's why, okay, you have to remember this. Now Maldives have become the first country to enforce generational tobacco ban. Now the capital of Maldives is Malé. You see a small line over here, यहाँ पे. So this has been sponsored by China. So this is around 1.4 kilometer. Now India will be sponsoring a bridge which will be connecting all these 4 islands. It is called as Greater Malay Connectivity Project. So this will be around 6.7 kilometers, which will be studying in IR more. Now, where is this Maldives located? The Maldives is located in this Chagos Laccadive ridge. ये दिख रहा है आपको? So northern part of this Chagos Laccadive ridge, you have the अपना लक्षद्वीप है. Southern part में ना, okay, you have this Maldives. And at the end, southern part of this Chagos Laccadive ridge, you have the Chagos Islands, okay, which we will discuss. Okay. Now here you have this Reunion Island. Reunion Island is an hotspot. Okay. And यहाँ पे जितने भी ये ridges आपको दिख रहे, so they have been created by this Reunion hotspot. When the Indian Peninsular Plateau, when it was moving towards north, okay, all these have been traced. Means a volcano, okay, अपना lava को जब बाहर vomit किया, okay, emit किया, then this has been traced. In fact, the Deccan lava plateau, which is there in India, even this has been created because of this Reunion hotspot. So next, what is important here? Okay, so many things have written over here, not that important. But one thing is that China is, okay, having the pearl of the string policy. That is, that China is having important ports in this region. यहाँ पे Djibouti में, Seychelles में उसका presence है, Maldives में, Mauritius में, Bangladesh में, Myanmar में. So a kind of pearl, okay, string बना रहा है India के around, so that in case of any attack, okay, then वो इंडिया के ऊपर मिसाइल्स डाल सकता है या चाइना का मिलिट्री प्रेजेंस यहाँ पे हो सकता है. And these are all very small countries. Why they are why they have the presence of China? Because China gives them a lot of money. So this is the debt trap diplomacy. That's why India is also trying to have its military presence over here. वो हो नहीं पा रहा है, लेकिन थोड़ा बहुत तो okay military strategic presence India का है. So in this context, India is building coastal radar chains, okay, patrol vessels, Dornier aircrafts यहाँ पे इंडिया रखती है, okay, इंडिया के कुछ ships, INS, Jatayu, etc. इनका presence होता है, okay. And remember this one thing in Maldives over here, others are not that important, okay. You can remember this Uturu Tilafalu, एक island है. So India is assisting a dockyard to counter the Chinese presence. So remember only this. So rest you can ignore. So India और Maldives के बीच में tensions हुआ था, अभी recently ये ठीक हो गया because the president of Maldives has visited India. Next, Colombo Security Conclave. Why it is the news? Because Seychelles has become the 6th member of Colombo Security Conclave. And Colombo Security Conclave has been formed by India, Sri Lanka and Maldives. And later it has been expanded to Mauritius, Bangladesh and Seychelles. So they might ask you who are all the members here. इस map में है. So India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Maldives. Okay. Basically इस region में जो भी countries है, they are part of it. You can remember this way. Next, what is Seychelles? You can see the Seychelles over here. The Seychelles is continental, a volcanic नहीं है. Whereas this Chagos Laccadive Ridge, this is volcanic plus coral. Of course, in the tropical area, wherever okay, you'll be having an island or a landmass which is in the photic zone, then of course you'll be having corals. So this is granitic. This is not volcanic in nature. And plus, of course, आपके पास corals होंगे. Now, what is the capital here? Mahe, not Male. It is also called as Victoria. And why it is important for India? Because of the coastal radar chain, piracy के लिए, China को counter करने के लिए, for tracking the ship movements, etc. So strategically, it is very important. And India का जो Navy's first training squadron, it has visited Seychelles again to counter China. Next, the president of Seychelles also has visited India. This is also in the news. And look at the location of this Seychelles. It is also very near to the Africa. Then some of the islands which are important here, you see the Assumption Island over here. So this is in Seychelles. And Agalega आपको यहाँ पे दिख रहा है. Agalega is in Mauritius. Mauritius. Diego Garcia, remember this also. We'll discuss this also. Diego Garcia. Now in Assumption and Agalega, India has air strips. Because in case in future यहाँ पे कोई अगर लड़ाई हो जाए तो इंडिया का मिलिट्री प्रेजेंस होना चाहिए. एंड डिएगो गार्सिया में यूएसए का एयर स्ट्रिप है. इनफैक्ट उनका फुल फ्लेजेड एयर बेस है यहाँ पे डिएगो गार्सिया में, which we'll discuss. Now Assumption Island, okay, which is located here, यहाँ पे अभी आपको लोकेशन दिख रहा है. So इंडिया का मिलिट्री स्ट्रिप है, एयर स्ट्रिप यू कैन से, बट अगेन इट इज नॉट फुल्ली फंक्शनल. आप देख सकते हो ऐसे कच्चा कच्चा बना हुआ है. नाउ जस्ट अबाउट द Assumption Island you have this Aldabra Islands. So Aldabra Islands में आप देखो यहाँ पे जो टर्टल्स है, they are extremely large. You have the world giant tortoise and is also very important for biodiversity. That's why it is also UNESCO World Heritage Site. Now Valle di Mai, also called as Praslin. So here you have world's largest seed called as Coco de Mar palm. So you can look at the seed over here. It's quite large. It's also UNESCO's World Heritage Site. Next, Assumption Island, just now you have seen. Next, this is the Chagos Archipelago. So Chagos Archipelago is part of this Chagos Laccadive Ridge, a pura Chagos Laccadive Ridge, which is volcanic. And in this Chagos Archipelago, you have Diego Garcia. You see the Diego Garcia here? So Diego Garcia, okay, is the Diego Garcia, it belongs to, in fact, Chagos Archipelago used to belong to UK. But recently, UK has transferred this sovereignty to Mauritius. ये पूरा इस में Mauritius को दे दिया. लेकिन यूके स्मार्टली ये क्या किया, यूके हैज स्मार्टली केप्ट द राइट्स ऑफ दिस जियोगाशिया. सो जियोगाशिया में ओके जो भी सेटलमेंट होना है, जियोगाशिया का लैंड राइट्स है, जियोगाशिया का जो प्रोटेक्शन है, दैट विल रिमेन विथ यूके. सो नेक्स्ट 99 ईयर्स तक ये लीज साइन किया है. दैट मीन्स यूएसए का एयरबेस यहां से नहीं जाएगा, वो रहेगा. लेकिन रेस्ट ऑफ द what Chagos archipelago, it has been transferred to Mauritius. So ये सब यहाँ पे explained है, आप document में देख लेना बाद में. Now just now I told you, okay, India is connecting with the northeast. So in that context, Port Mongla, Port Dhaka, Port Chittagong, they become important. They are in Bangladesh because the India will be using the sea route. एंड यहाँ पे जो ब्रह्मपुत्र रिवर है, द ब्रह्मपुत्र इंडिया में बोलते हैं. व्हेन इट एंटर्स इनटू बांग्लादेश इट इज कॉल्ड एज जमुना. व्हेन इट मीट्स गंगा इट इज कॉल्ड एज पद्मा. एंड फाइनली व्हेन इट बिकम्स डिस्ट्रीब्यूटरी इट इज कॉल्ड एज मेघना. सो इन दिस रिवर देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ वाटर. सी ब्रह्मपुत्र इज ऑलरेडी ए मैसिव रिवर. In that river, the Ganga river is also meeting. So you'll be having very large amount of water. It is extremely navigable. So India will be using the combination of roadways, railways, waterways to connect to the northeastern region. So, okay. So remember these ports over here. See, through Mongla, okay, through waterway, we'll be able to connect to Agartala. And Dhaka port be important. It also has the waterways. Now in Bangladesh, you have an island called as Bhashan Char Island. You see the Rakhine province, okay, Myanmar mein you have Rakhine province. See in Rakhine province, you have a lot of Muslims. And Myanmar is predominantly the Buddhist country. Buddhists are known for their peaceful nature, right? But a lot of atrocities have been committed against the Muslims. So these Rohingyas, the Rakhine में जो Muslims है, they are called as Rohingyas. These Rohingyas have to flee. कुछ लोग इंडिया आए थे अपना जान बचाने के लिए, कुछ लोग बांग्लादेश में चले गए. So Bangladesh, okay, government has given this island called as Bhashan Char Island. Char मतलब island है. So this have been given to this Rohingya refugees. Next, India is also sponsoring a bridge called as Padma Bridge project, okay, in Bangladesh. So next you see this region here. अभी पाकिस्तान के ऊपर आते हैं. So let's get into the Middle East and West Asia, including Pakistan. Now you see the Pakistan's physiography here. There is a direct correlation between the physiography and ethnicity. And whatever conflicts are happening in this region are because of the ethnicity. So when you unite all the ethnicities under one banner, then conflicts will arise. Now you see this part over here, which is kind of hilly. So this becomes the Baluchistan. The lower part of the Indus River, this becomes the Sindh region. And the place where all the 5 rivers meet, okay, that becomes the Punjab region. And you have federally administered tribal areas. You can see this region because this is all hilly mountainous region. And here you have the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. So whenever you understand why there is a conflict in the region, then आप वहाँ की physiography देखो, पहाड़ कहाँ पे है, river कहाँ पे है, desert कहाँ पे है, उससे आपको सीधा पता लगेगा कि वहाँ पे conflict क्यों हो रहा है. This is also true for Africa. Now these are the various ethnicities over here. Now the context here is the Tira Valley in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. Now you see in the Tira Valley, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, here you have Pashtun population. So these Pashtuns are there in the Afghanistan also. So earlier this border was porous. So यहाँ के लोग यहाँ जाते थे, यहाँ के लोग यहाँ आते थे. So आपस में शादी वादी होती थी, रिश्तेदार होते थे. अभी पाकिस्तानी आर्मी ने क्या किया, इस बॉर्डर को पूरा फेंस कर दिया. So लोग यहाँ से वहाँ, वहाँ से यहाँ नहीं जा सकते. So that's why on the either side of the border, the militant groups have emerged. And one such important militant group is Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, TTP. So TTP has become very active on the either side of the border, especially in this Pashtun region. And TTP का direct support, direct ताल्लुक तालिबान से है. अभी जो तिरा वैली है, which is in खैबर पख्तूनख्वा province, मीन्स पाकिस्तान ने अपने टेरिटरी में बॉम्ब उड़ाया. अभी मुझे ये बताओ, क्या इंडिया ने अपने टेरिटरी में कभी एयर बॉम्बिंग किया है? So next one, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and tribal districts, okay, which you have seen, this federally administered tribal areas and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. So just now you have seen in this area you have the Pashtun population. So these have been experiencing serious spike in the militancy activity. You know why? Next, come to Baluchistan. Again, Baluchistan का देखो यहाँ पे अलग सी geography है. So बलूची ethnicity जो है वो different है. And आपने इस वाले धुरंधर मूवी में देखा भी होगा बलूची लोग, okay? So बलूची लोग wants to get separated from Pakistan. So यहाँ पे नोशकी district है, remember करना, this is where you have this Noshki district, okay? And you have this Rekordik district, okay, which is in Rekordik area. This is in Chagai district. Now why they are important? Of course, यहाँ पे okay militancy है, attacks हुए हैं, and this Chagai district is rich in copper and gold, okay, and here okay Nokshi district में you had attacks. Next you see the Afghanistan now. See Afghanistan, you look at the plain part below. So यहाँ पे again you have the Pashtun population, and the central part है यहाँ पे, the central part. The central part, you have the Hazara population, Hazara, okay, and rest of the ethnicities here, Tajiks hai, Kajiks hai, Uzbeks hai, Turkmens hai, Pamirs hai. So this is all mixed ethnicity, okay. So the northern part is different from the southern part. In fact, during the Soviet war, the Soviet, okay, USA war, proxy war, which has taken place here. So they have formed Northern Alliance. Okay, in Sabka, okay, they are like, you know, what allies of each other. Pashtuns jo hai, they are different. The Pashtuns se bana hai this Taliban. So Taliban people are dominated by this Pashtun ethnicity. So हमेशा जो conflict है इनके बीच में होती रहती है. So recently in 2021 the Taliban has taken over. So before that the Northern Alliance was in power. Now if you want to understand the conflict here in Afghanistan, okay, you have to understand these dynamics here. Now you have a very important range here, Hindu Kush range, okay, which is coming from the Pamir Knot, and it serves as a major geographical divide between Amud area. इसके north की तरफ you have Amud area, and south की तरफ you have the Indus Valley. Now the Durand line. So Durand line is the border between Pakistan and Afghanistan. On the either side, you have this Pashtun population. So because of this, the conflicts happen. And here you also have the Khyber Pass. अभी Durand line को अफगानिस्तान कभी एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं करती है. अफगानिस्तान बोलती है कि ओके तो हमारे पश्तून लोग वहाँ पे है, सो बॉर्डर को कभी एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेगा. So that's why on the Durand line there are a lot of flash points. Okay, हमेशा conflicts होते हैं. Now in this context, two provinces are important. Okay, Nangarhar and Patika province. So Nangarhar and Patika province, which are there in Afghanistan, the Pakistani conducted airstrikes targeting TTP hideouts. Next you have the Khyber Pass. Okay, it will connect the Kabul with Afghanistan, very important for Silk Roads. And ये जो दो passes है, since Afghanistan is a landlocked country, जब ये war against terrorism, okay, USA ने किया, so through Pakistan, because Pakistan का access है along with the sea, so all the supplies into Afghanistan used to go from these passes. So USA के लिए very important था Pakistan. So even now, why USA has good friendship with Pakistan? Because it can provide the access to Afghanistan. So some of the important cities here, okay, remember this, Kandahar, where the Indian plane hijack has happened. Zaranj, important because India, okay, is having access into Afghanistan through Zaranj. Herat, एक important city है, and of course Kabul. And north में Mazar-e Sharif. So these are some of the important cities. Sometimes they can ask you, they can give some of the cities, okay, in the West Asia, and then ask you to arrange from north to south or south to north or east to west or west to east. Next you have this Wakhan corridor. See this strip which you see here? This strip here, okay, this is Wakhan corridor. So through Wakhan corridor, the Afghanistan has direct access into China. So it is very important for China's Belt and Road Initiative. And if China establishes, okay, through its BRI, if it establishes routes and all, it will become very difficult for India. Because यहाँ पे Wakhan corridor के नीचे आपकी Baltistan, Gilgit-Baltistan की province है. Even Saksgam Valley has been acceded to China by Pakistan. So पूरा एरिया इंडिया के कब्जे में नहीं है. अगर यहाँ पे भी अगर चाइना आ गया, so इंडिया के नदन पार्ट को बहुत ही मुश्किल हो जाएगा. So this is the Greater Khorasan province. So obviously, okay, in the northern part, okay, you have different ethnicities. All these people have come together, and यहाँ पे Islamic State Khorasan province, a terrorist group which has become very strong. So Khorasan, this region can be asked. Now recently, Taliban foreign minister visits Darul Uloom Deoband in UP. अभी जो Taliban, okay, which is ruling the Afghanistan, it is influenced by the Deobandi school, and Deobandi school has emerged in India. So history point of view, ये देख लेना what is the Deobandi school, history में question पूछ सकता है. Okay, so this is in the news. So next, the India is connecting into Afghanistan. यहाँ पे चाबहार port है. So from here we are establishing railway line. ये जाएगा Zaranj. So Zaranj से Delaram. Okay, we are building a roadway, and this, okay, Garland Road also India is sponsoring. So we can have access into Afghanistan. So India has spent around $3 billion in terms of infrastructure in Afghanistan. Such as India has built this Salma Dam, 42 megawatt ka. Zaranj Delaram Highway India has built. Okay, Chabahar Port again, this is in Iran, India has built. And this is very important for India, Iran, Afghanistan connectivity. So next you have this Panjshir Valley. Panjshir Valley is in Afghanistan. So it has a lot of copper deposits. And secondly, it is also very important for Labis Lazuki emeralds. Next is Bagram Air Base, which is near Kabul. Now USA is in talks, okay, with Afghanistan to regain the control in the Bagram Air Base, because USA is now realizing कि air bases एक कितना important है, because Persian Gulf का जितने भी air bases है, okay, all have been destroyed. So having such kind of installations is very important. Now why, okay, Iran has become so inaccessible? See, यहाँ पे जो ईरान के southern part में जो है, you have this Zagros mountain. So these are nothing but the fold mountains which belong to the tertiary period. मतलब हिमालय जैसे ही यहाँ पे mountains है, which have been created by the collision of Eurasian plate and the Arabian plate. And in the northern side, we have Alborz mountain in the Caspian Sea. Now, these mountains, okay, act as a fortress. So, यहाँ से कहीं से भी ईरान के अंदर घुसना बहुत ही मुश्किल हो जाएगा. अगर यूएसए ने यहाँ पे ट्रूप्स भी उतारा, ज़ैक्रोस माउंटेन के डिफिकल्ट टेराइन को क्रॉस करके अंदर जाके, okay, ईरानियन सिटीज को अटैक करना, कब्जा करना बहुत ही मुश्किल हो जाएगा. So this is the Zagros young fold mountain, acts as a climate barrier. So whatever winds will be coming here, it will be keeping this part comparatively wet, but inside को dry रखता है. So that's why most of the Iran is the desert, interior पूरा desert है. Similarly, Caspian Sea से जो भी हवा आ रही है, so यहाँ पे Caspian के coast में थोड़ा बहुत wetness है, forest है. But again, this becomes the leeward side, that's why it is completely dry. So almost entire Iran is made up of the desert. And here, okay, in the Mount Elbrus, you have a volcano called as Mount Damavand. See, यहाँ पे कोई ocean plate subduction नहीं हो रहा है. In fact, the Caspian Sea is not even a sea, it's a misnomer. It is nothing but a continental landmass जिसमें depression है, पानी भर गया because of excessive evaporation, यहाँ पे sea form हुआ है. So यहाँ पे volcano कैसे आया? फिर जब तक subduction नहीं होगा, volcano नहीं आना चाहिए. There is a process called as a delamination. Delamination means, so यहाँ पे आपकी continental crust जो है generally, continental crust का thickness ऐसा होता है. तो यहाँ पे क्या हो गया? The continental crust है, ऐसा split हो गया. So split होने के कारण इसके अंदर मैग्मा आ गया, हॉट मैग्मा. अभी ऊपर का हिस्सा जो है वो पतला हो गया. So because its thickness has reduced, the magma oozes out from inside and lava erupts, which has created Damavand. ये चीज ध्यान रखना. In fact, in Himalayas also, same kind of delamination is happening where the continental crust thickness is being reduced because of this splitting. This process is called as delamination. Now, because of this Zagros mountain and Elbrus mountain, you have two deserts created in, important deserts created in Iran, that is Daste Kavir and Daste Lut, very important. And most of the Iranian cities are located in the oasis, अंदर जितना भी watering points है वहाँ पे ये important cities है. Next, Daste Kavir means great sand, salt. Daste Lut means great sand. Now the lowlands, you have this Khuzestan plain. So Khuzestan plain, is on this side. आपका Zagros mountain दिख रहा है. So this side of the Iran, you have, it is very extremely rich in oil deposits. ये वाला part जो है, this is extremely rich in oil deposits, which is called as Khuzestan. And the Caspian coastal plain जो है, it is extremely fertile because of the rainfall. Now, these are the important this countries here. So they might ask you to arrange the countries from north to south or south to north along the Persian Gulf. So order remember करना. Iran है, Kuwait है, then बीच में Saudi आता है, then Bahrain है, Qatar है, UAE है, and यहाँ पे strip में जो है, again you have Oman. So next, Strait of Hormuz, a very important strait over here, जिसको ईरान ने कब्जा करके रखा है. So ईरान बोल रहा है कि जो भी ship यहाँ से जाएगा, $2 lakh, इसको, 2 million I guess, it has to be given to Iran as a toll this thing. So this is happening here. So Strait of Hormuz से 20 to 25% of the global oil जाती है, 25% मान लेना. And India का तो 50% oil यहीं से आता है. So very important. So now, if the shipments are stuck here, then it will be create a very big problem in India. And यहाँ पे जो खरग आइलैंड है, right? So एक महीने पहले, ट्रम्प भैया बोल रहे थे कि मैं जाके खरग आइलैंड को कब्जा कर लूँगा, क्योंकि Zagros माउंटेन के इस तरफ ना, it is very rich in oil. So ईरान के जो oil supplies है, so इस खरग आइलैंड से जाता है. So ट्रम्प सोचा कि अगर मैं इस आइलैंड को जाके कब्जा कर लूँगा, then the Iran will become vulnerable. लेकिन ट्रम्प भैया वो नहीं कर पाए. Next, one more island which is important here is the Keshem Island here. So it is one of the large islands along the Strait of Hormuz. Now Keshem Island के पास और एक छोटा सा island है called as Larak Island. So this Strait of Hormuz which is there, which is around 33 kilometers, लेकिन deep waters are on the Iranian side. अगर कोई भी बड़ी शिपमेंट, बड़ी शिप गुजरना है, then वो उसको ईरान के तरफ से जाना पड़ेगा. So and these two islands, the Keshem and Larak, they play important role. Now to attack the Iran, the USA has got various air bases and military bases. Of course, there are so many air and military bases. Of all these, two are very important. Okay, one is there in Qatar. It is the largest base in the Middle East. And one naval fleet, fifth fleet of USA, is located in Bahrain. If you want to remember Baki sab, you can remember, but these two are very important. Remember Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, it's the largest. It has been severely destroyed, okay, by Iranian attack. Next, China also wants to counter, China also wants to have a presence here. China is already supplying a lot of missiles, technology, it is giving a lot of information to Iran. Now, Mubarak al-Kabir port. Now, Kuwait has signed an agreement with China to build Mubarak al-Kabir port. Now, Kuwait ke paas, okay, already, okay, USA ka presence hai. You see, Ali al-Salim already hai, okay, the Kuwait is hosting the Chinese also. So, only remember two, बाकी सब remember करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. Now, Bahrain, India ties deepened in the 5th HGC, okay, November 25 में हुआ है. So, India के ships are also visiting, okay. Anyways, okay, Bahrain में USA का naval fleet है. Now, you have this Lake Oromia. Now, Lake Oromia, Iran has attempted cloud seeding over Lake Oromia basin to introduce rainfall, because this region is facing a lot of drought. Now, Lake Urmia is a saltwater lake, because this region, okay, is very dry, a desert जैसा region है, dilution नहीं होता है, very high rate of evaporation होता है. जब भी monsoon season में बारिश आती है, उससे lake भरते हैं. लेकिन if you are utilizing all the water for irrigation, drinking purposes, and you're not letting any water to go into the lakes, they become dry and they become more saline. And Qatar is a very curious case in this region. I'll not be discussing now. Now, Qatar, okay, used to have good relations with Iran. Okay, Qatar सबका friend है. इसलिए जितने भी ये negotiations ये सब होती है, okay, generally Qatar में होती है. Now, Qatar and Iran, okay, they share an island here in the Persian Gulf, which is called as South Pars. Remember this name. And South Pars, okay, is very rich in natural gas. So this island is shared between Iran and Qatar. So next, okay, you have, okay, anyways, we have discussed this Chabahar port, okay, Jahedan, Jaranj, okay, to Kabul. And India wants to connect to, okay, last time we have discussed this international north-south corridor, where Iran will be playing a very important role, where from Mumbai the goods will be reaching to Bandar Abbas. Next you have South Transitional Council. See, again we have to go into Yemen over here. So Yemen mein, this green region which you see, this is largely, okay, Sunni. ये वाला सना होदेदा, okay, region जो है, here you have Houthi rebels. Houthi are Shia. ये वाले Shia है. Now, a southern part around Aden जो है, okay, which also has Bab el-Mandeb Strait, here you have the South Transitional Council, and these are secular. See, geography अलग जगह. यहाँ पे देखो थोड़ा mountainous region है, तो यहाँ पे Shia लोग हैं. And इस शिया को कौन सपोर्ट करता है? ईरान सपोर्ट करता है. They have the support of Iran. Now, Iran does not have the capability to just choke the Strait of Hormuz through Houthi rebels. It can also choke the Bab el-Mandeb. So this can also be asked in the examination. Bab el-Mandeb separates the Gulf of Aden with the Red Sea. And this Red Sea is further connected with the Suez Canal. And this is the major route towards Europe. अगर ये वाला रूट बंद हो गया, then around the Africa आपको जाना पड़ेगा. Next. Now here remember these ports here. Aden remember. Hodeidah you remember. Okay. Marib also you can remember. So central region, okay, rich in oil and gas. It's also major front line between Houthi and anti-Houthi rebels. Next, nuclear, okay, program of Iran. So why the USA has attacked the Iran? On the pretext that Iran के पास nuclear weapon है. What if Iran, nuclear power, what if it attacks USA? So with that fear, ईरान अटैक करेगा बोल के यूएसए ने जाके पहले अटैक कर दिया. सो ये वाली भैया स्टोरी है, एंड बहुत सारे स्टोरी ये लोग बना चुके हैं. नाउ रिसेंटली ए मंथ एगो, ओके, कुछ तो यहाँ पे बहुत बड़ा ड्रामा हुआ था. तो यूएसए के फाइटर गए थे अंदर, एक फंस गया था, उसको रेस्क्यू करने और 2 फाइटर गए. ओके, एक ट्रांसपोर्ट हेलीकॉप्टर, ट्रांसपोर्ट एयरक्राफ्ट भी गया था. ओके, तीनों वहां पे ओके कोलैप्स हो गए. सो इट वाज ऑन द प्रिटेक्स्ट दैट ओके यूएसए का प्लान था कि वो ईरान के अंदर जाके जितना भी वहां पे यूरेनियम है उसको चुरा के लेके आएगा. सो इन दिस कॉन्टेक्स्ट द 3 लोकेशंस आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. ओके, फर्दो, नाटंज एंड इस्फहान. यहाँ पे लोकेशंस है फर्दो, नाटंज एंड इस्फहान. So these 3 are the nuclear sites of Iran. And यहाँ पे कौन सा रिसर्च वाला है, कौन सा एनरिचमेंट वाला है, इतना डिटेल में जाने की जरूरत नहीं है. जस्ट रिमेंबर these 3 sites. So next, Iranian. Okay, next we will go to this Turkey. So Turkey, the mountains which are in Turkey, they are the extension of the Himalayas. So this is also part of the Trans-Eurasian Himalayan belt. Now the northern part is made up of Pontics and southern part is made up of Taurus. Taurus mountain है, Pontics है, and बीच में जो है plateau है. This plateau is called as Anatolian plateau. And Turkey को Anatolia भी बोलते हैं. This has been previously asked in the examination. So यहाँ पे 2 lakes है important है. Okay, you have Lake Van and Tuzgolu. So this is the Lake Van, this is Tuzgolu. And nowadays these are becoming hyper saline. So Lake Van में जो salinity है 33%. That means अगर 1 लीटर का पानी लोगे इस लेक में से 330 grams of salt होगा इसमें. Now they are becoming okay extremely saline because इसमें पानी नहीं जा रहा है, evaporation बहुत ज़्यादा हो रहा है. एंड इस तरफ लेक उमरिया है. ओके, आपने अभी देखा था, विच इज देयर इन ईरान. नाउ द टर्की इज पार्ट ऑफ ट्रांस-यूरेशियन हिमालयन बेल्ट. ओके, दैट्स व्हाई इट विल बी हैविंग फॉल्टिंग आल्सो. सो you have the North Anatolian fault and East Anatolian fault, and these faults are very important. Okay, they are famous for or infamous for a lot of earthquakes. अभी 2025 में अप्रैल में 6.2 मैग्नीट्यूड earthquake आया था. ओके, दिस इज इन नॉर्थ अनाटोलियन फॉल्ट. एंड 2023 में ओके along the East Anatolian fault, okay, there was one more earthquake which has killed a lot of people along the Turkey and Syria border. Next, 2 rivers which are very important in Iraq are Tigris and Euphrates. So Euphrates, okay, it flows through Turkey, Syria and Iraq. Tigris, it flows through Turkey and Iraq. Now Shatt el-Arab. So Tigris and Euphrates, they meet in Shatt el-Arab, and the Shatt el-Arab, okay, is on the border of Iran and Iraq. Now during the Saddam Hussein time, so this region was under conflict because कौन नहीं चाहेगा डेजर्ट में वाटर, कौन नहीं चाहेगा. सो डेजर्ट में थोड़ा फर्टाइल लैंड कौन नहीं चाहेगा. डेजर्ट में कौन नहीं चाहेगा कि you should have a navigational route. That's why Shatt el-Arab becomes very important. So next you have Basra port. The The Basra port, okay, is after the confluence of this Tigris and Euphrates river. And in Iraq, you see these two cities, Erbil and Kirkuk, important Kirkuk and Erbil. So they have massive oil and gas reserves. Next you have a Kurdistan. See, जब भी geography बदलती है, okay, the ethnicity भी बदल जाती है. Now, this ethnic Kurds, they are neither Shia nor Sunni. So इस तरफ पूरा यहाँ पे पूरा शिया है, okay, ये भी शिया, ये सुन्नी है, and ये तो पूरा, okay, इस तरफ पूरा सुन्नी लैंड है. Now सारे सुन्नी के बीच में, शिया के बीच में, you have people, these are Muslims, but neither Shia nor Sunni. That's why जब भी ISIS आता है, इनको अटैक करता है. इराक में what he had Saddam Hussein, who was Sunni, इनको अटैक करता था. And ईरान में you have Shia, okay, एकदम hyper Shia है. Obviously, okay, they used to attack these Kurds. So जब भी ये ईरान का war हो रहा था, the Kurds, okay, US ने जाके Kurds को request किया, भैया तुम भी जाके अटैक करो. They were not that active because Iran was very, okay, उसने भी थोड़ा बहुत attacks किया था. Now Iranian strikes हुए थे, okay. So Erbil is the de facto capital of Kurdistan, though it is part of Iraq, लेकिन de facto, okay, capital है. Now they have a military called as Peshmerga. The Peshmerga is the military of the Kurd people. Now in this region you have one more ethnic group called as Yazidis. Now Yazidis are Kurds, okay. Mostly they are in Syria. यहाँ पे Syria में है. They are Kurds. अभी Kurds मुस्लिम है, शिया नहीं है, सुन्नी नहीं है. लेकिन Yazidis बोलते हैं कि हम मुस्लिम भी नहीं है. भैया आप बोल रहे हो कि शिया नहीं है, सुन्नी नहीं है, तब इतने मारे जाते हो. अगर आप इस रीजन में रह के बोलते हो कि हम मुस्लिम भी नहीं है, so that's why they have become the most ethnically persecuted, okay, ethnic group in the world. Yazidis, you remember, ethnically they are Kurds. Kurdish language बोलते हैं. Next you have Suvadia or Suvadia. So these people, okay, this region is in the southern part of Syria. Now these people, इनका जो religion है, okay, they have the elements of Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, Greek philosophy. So सारे चीजों का mixture है. And these people are called as Druze people. And these are also ethnically persecuted. So recently जब war हो रहा था, then इजरायलियों ने बहुत सारे बम डाला इस रीजन में. Next, India and Jordan has signed a twinning agreement, okay, between UNESCO heritage sites of Petra and Ellora. अभी Jordan में, okay, you have the rock cut caves. These rock cut caves are very similar to the Ellora caves. Now rock cut caves से याद आया, the Jordan is very rich in rock phosphate, जो इंडिया को सप्लाई करती है. Next, this Levant, the eastern part of the Mediterranean is called as Levant. You see an island over here which is called as Cyprus. So Cyprus का जो northern part है, which is under Turkey control, southern part जो है, that is under Greek control. Now India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor. So this is one more corridor, remember, okay, which is under talks. So the goods will be going from Mundra, Mumbai, okay, to Jebel Ali. Then it will be going through Saudi Arabia and Haifa port in Israel. Remember this. Now the Bekaa Valley, it's in Lebanon. So Lebanon में you have Lebanon mountains, anti-Lebanon mountains, and बीच में valley है, नीचे देखो Israel है. So this valley acts as a passage into Syria. So जब भी यहाँ के लोगों के ऊपर attacks होते हैं, then these people from the Bekaa Valley they go into Syria. So remember this Bekaa. Then Hezbollah. So Hezbollah, okay, is a Shia militant group, which has direct support from Iran. So यहाँ पे Israel है. So in southern part of Lebanon and around Beirut. So Beirut में you have a region called as Dahiya region. इस region में you have this Hezbollah, and also in Bekaa Valley, okay, you have this Hezbollah. So predominantly they are there in southern Lebanon. So then you have this blue line. So blue line is the border between Lebanon and Israel. This has been recognized by UN. So next you have Sheba farms. Okay, Sheba farms is in the northern part of the Golan Heights. ये जो region जो है ना, ये है Golan Heights. इसके northern part में Sheba farms है. इसमें काफी पानी होता है. It's comparatively fertile. So Lebanon and Syria दोनों बोलते हैं कि a Lebanese territory है, लेकिन Israel has occupied it since 1967, Six-Day War. So though it is small in size, it is valued for water resources and proximity to Mount Hermon. Now see some of the important cities over here, okay, in Syria. तो सीरिया में ओके एलेप्पो इम्पोर्टेंट है, नदर्न पार्ट में ट्रेड के लिए टर्की के साथ इम्पोर्टेंट है. या इडलिब ओके वन इम्पोर्टेंट सिटी. ओके ऑफ कोर्स ओके यू हैव दिस कैपिटल कहाँ पे, Damascus. So Damascus is the capital here. Then you have Tartus. Tartus is the base of Russia. It is a naval base of Russia in the Mediterranean. So these are some of the important locations of Syria. You can also see Syria with respect to Lebanon. So sometimes they may also ask which country is surrounding which. Now Latakia. Okay, Latakia is a commercial seaport in the Mediterranean. Okay. Also, okay, Palmyra. Palmyra is the UNESCO World Heritage Site. बहुत पुराने यहाँ पे what archaeological sites है, which ISIS has completely demolished. Next you have Duqm port, okay, in Iran. So India has access for military logistics here. So it will oversee the Arabian Sea. It's also near to the Strait of Hormuz. Next, USA and Egypt co-hosted Gaza Peace Talk Summit. Now let's see some of the important points in Gaza. Now, this is where you have the Gaza, which is part of Palestine, and the West Bank, which is also part of Palestine. You have this Golan Heights. This Golan Heights, okay, this has been a conflict between Syria and Israel. Actually, Syria का part है, Israel ने जाके उसको कब्जा कर लिया. Now, why the Golan Heights is important? Because Golan Heights एक high vantage point है. वहाँ से आप सारे एरिया को देख सकते हो. It's also important source of water. So जहाँ पे भी पहाड़ होते हैं, ये water का source होता है. Now, that water will be feeding the Sea of Galilee. And Sea of Galilee से यहाँ से Jordan River निकलता है. And Jordan River के बीच में you have the Dead Sea, which is world's lowest point. And then, okay, you have the Jordan River again, which is going into the Red Sea here. Red Sea, Gulf of Aqaba. So यहाँ पे Israel का important port है, called as Port of Elliot. Elliot port is important here. Red Sea access मिलता है. Now, this Israel has kind of separated the Palestinian people. Okay, they have been marginalized as Gaza and West Bank. Now, why this is called as West Bank? Because it is on the western side of the Jordan River. So these are some of the important locations here. I will tell you some more locations in this region. So Golan Heights already I told you, West Bank, Gaza, Dead Sea. Now this Gaza is kind of open jail. So they cannot go into the Mediterranean Sea, neither they go into Israel. So for them, some crossings have been given. Means उनके लिए अगर goods आना है, लोग आना जाना, उसके लिए crossings है. So Rafah crossing is important. Rafah crossing is into Egypt. Because जो Hamas जो Gaza को rule करता है, means Hamas is a political party, you can say in Hamas. in Gaza. So it has direct connections with the Egyptian Muslim Brotherhood. इजिप्ट में एक ग्रुप है मुस्लिम ब्रदरहुड और हमास को सपोर्ट करता है. सो रफा क्रॉसिंग. You have one more crossing into Israel, which is Guj crossing. That is called as Kerem Shalom crossing. And in the northern part, you have one more crossing called as Erez crossing. So these three crossing, okay, are important because these are in the news. Then you have some important ports over here in Israel. So let's see Gaza only first. So Gaza city, of course, it is important. Okay, rest you can ignore here. Okay, यहाँ पे locations है. रफा already देखनी है आपने. Again, Khan Yunis, okay, Deir al-Bala, Gaza, and Beut Honon. So these are some of the important locations which have been in the news, either for airstrikes or ground operations or for refugee camps. So next, let's get into Israel here. So in Israel, okay, Jerusalem, okay. So Jerusalem is the holy site for Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Tel Aviv is the capital. You have the Haifa port. So Haifa port is the northern port here, which is very important, okay, along the Mediterranean. This is where you have Haifa port. I'll tell you important ports here. Haifa port is very important here, remember. Next, you have this Ashdod port, and then you have this Elliot port. So these three ports you remember. Okay. So next you have Golan Heights, which you have seen. Next you have Jordan River. So Jordan River is flowing into the Rift Valley. Then you have the Dead Sea, lowest point. Okay. Then the airport in Tel Aviv is called as Ben Gurion. And Elliot port, we have seen the Red Sea, that is Raman. And of course Haifa. Only remember this, rest you can ignore. Next you have a Netzarim corridor. So Israel demands the control of 2 Gaza corridors. So it has got the crossings also here. But along with these crossings, you have corridors. That is Netzarim corridor. If the Israel will be getting access, it will be dividing the Gaza into northern and southern part. And you have one more corridor called as Philadelphia corridor, but Netzarim is in the news. The Prime Minister's visit to Israel. Just before the Israel, okay, has declared war on Iran, the Prime Minister has visited Israel. I guess, okay, in my personal opinion, I think it's a very bad timing. So anyways, you have seen all these ports here, Haifa, Ashdod, Elliot, okay, all these locations you have seen. One more important, Negev desert. So the desert, okay, which is there in Israel is called as Negev desert. Golan Heights we have seen. So along the coast of Yemen, you have an island called as Socotra Island. So Socotra Island is very important for dragon blood trees. And Socotra is very important for piracy. It stands on the mouth of Gulf of Aden. So that's why this is important. It belongs to Yemen. So India GCC Free Trade Agreement. So these are the GCC countries and the news, recent news. आज की न्यूज़ है UAE has come out of OPEC and ये फ्यूचर में GCC से भी बाहर आ सकता है. Okay, why? Because in the recent war UAE, okay, it has realized that GCC से कोई फायदा नहीं है या OPEC कंट्री से कुछ फायदा नहीं है. Because if any country which has been worst affected by this Iran war is UAE. So watch out for this in the future. So remember the country names here. Now why they have been formed? Because on this side you have the Shia countries. इस तरफ Shia है, नीचे Sunni countries है. Now Iranian revolution हुआ था 1979 में. Means the Shia has become very strong. अभी ये सुन्नी को लगा कि हाँ हमको भी साथ होना चाहिए. So they have come together. Now, what is so common between these? The commonality is all these are monarchies and they are oil-rich countries. Next, Al-Jaf, okay, Al-Nafad. In Saudi Arabia, you have very important deserts called as Al-Nafad, okay, and Rab al-Khali. So Rab al-Khali is the world's largest sandy desert. You have extensive, okay, sand over here. And you have Al-Nafad desert, which is in the north. The rest of the deserts, don't remember. अभी recently क्या हुआ? Al-Nafad desert में you had this, okay, snowfall. अभी desert में snowfall कैसे आएगा? Because from the north you had cold air mass, winter में cold air mass आती है. And अगर यहाँ पे already heavy rainfall हो रही है, if when you have heavy rainfall, if it is combined with, okay, cold winds coming from the north, वो बारिश के बूंदे नीचे आते आते वो freeze हो जाते हैं. So that is why, okay, in the deserts you can have this snowfall. Now, one more thing which is in the news is Saudi Arabia ends the kafala system. The kafala system is, they sponsor, ties visa passport. There's a, agreement between the employee and employer. जब भी employee वहाँ पे जाता है, employer जो है अपना जो passport है उसके पास रख लेता है. So they kind of become a bonded labor. So which is very atrocious practice. This has ended. So next continent, okay, which we'll be doing here is Africa. You see, okay, some of the important physiographic divisions of Africa. You see in the north here, you have the Atlas Mountain, which is a fold mountain, which also belongs to the Himalayan orogeny. You see this location over here, okay, this is the Great African Rifting. So this Great African Rifting, okay, it is a divergent plate boundary, which is separating, this is a Somali plate, and this is the Nubian plate. And these two will be separated, a rift is being created. And here you have one important location called as Guinea Highlands because it is very rich in the bauxite reserves. And the southern part, you see the Drakensberg. So Drakensberg is very similar to our Deccan Plateau, which has been created because of divergence. Because once upon a time, Africa was part of your Gondwana land. When it got separated, so this block mountain has been created. Now let's get into other parts over here. This is the broad physiography. Now you see the Great African Rifting, okay, this has the eastern side and you have the western side. And this is called as East African Rift Valley because this is on the eastern side. You see the plates over here, Nubian plate, Somali plate and Arabian plate. And here you have the triple junction. So whenever you'll be having divergence, okay, it will be split, okay, like a Y junction. And in this, one of the arms will become inactive. This is also called as, this Gulf of Aden is also called as the failed arm. So right now, okay, towards the Red Sea, and this is the Dead Sea Fault. So this is active. So this part will be separated in the future. Now you see here, the African Rift Valley, okay, it is extending from Jordan Valley to Mozambique. Means right from here, it is extending till south. So when you will be having rifting, so initially the entire continent will not be separated, but a rift will be created and this rift will have water accumulated and it will be forming the Rift Valley lakes. So this Great African Rift Valley has numerous lakes. These are called as Rift Valley lakes. And wherever you have Rift Valley lakes, they'll be extremely deep. So in this you have Lake Tanganyika. It's the world's longest and second deepest lake. The first deepest lake is Lake Baikal. Now, okay, you have seen this Nubian plate, okay, Somali plate. So in future, this Somali plate, okay, will come and combine with the Western Ghats of India, and Western Ghats in the future, they'll become an Himalaya-like mountain and they will be called as Somalayas because the Somalian plate will come and meet. Now in the exam, they can ask you to arrange these Rift Valley lakes. Okay, ignore these lakes over here. Okay, this can you completely ignore. And here one lake is important called as Lake Turkana, because the Lake Turkana is getting dried up because the water which is supposed to come in this lake, again because of the human greed, the water is not coming. Now here they can ask you to arrange the lake from north to south or south to north. So you have Lake Tanganyika, Lake Malawi, Lake Kivu, Lake Edward, Lake Albert. So they can ask you these lakes. Lake Kivu has become very important because of an M23 rebel group. Now Lake Tanganyika, you see here, second deepest lake, world's longest lake, and the rest of the lakes are not that important here except Lake Kivu. So in Lake Kivu, you see a country called as Rwanda here, and on this side you have DRC. Now, wherever you have this rifting region, okay, will be very rich in minerals. They'll be rich in coal also. Because whenever you have a rift, a low-lying area, so because of the erosion and deposition, the minerals will be deposited here. And if the plant remains, if they get fossilified, there is a chance of formation of the coal as well. So the rifting region, okay, has a lot of minerals, and it is said that, alleged that the Rwandan government is sponsoring the M23 rebels to occupy this North Kivu and South Kivu around the Kivu Lake, okay, these lands, so that the Rwanda can have access or monopoly of the minerals in this region, okay. So सीधा ये सच है. So next you have the Horn of Africa. So Eritrea, Djibouti, Ethiopia and Somalia. So these countries form the Horn of Africa. One very important country, okay, which is landlocked here, which is also a large country, which is Ethiopia. And they can ask you the countries which are surrounding Ethiopia, देख लेना यहाँ पे कौन से countries है. Next, Eritrea, Djibouti coast relevance. You see, the Strait of Hormuz is already closed, and here you have Bab el-Mandeb. The Bab el-Mandeb is the important choke point which is separating Gulf of Aden and Red Sea, which is further connecting into Suez Canal and Mediterranean Sea. So this Eritrea and Djibouti, they sit on this choke point. So like Strait of Hormuz, a situation can be created if it is created by the Houthis who are here, and Houthis are supported by Iran. Then the countries on the other side of Bab el-Mandeb can become important. And Djibouti already has a lot of military bases of many countries, and India also has a presence here. Now, okay, you have seen, okay, the Great African Rifting. So this is a rift, and from the rift, a lot of volcanic eruptions have come, and these volcanic eruptions, okay, are on the either side of the rift, and also because of the domal uplift. That is, when you have the magma below the crust, it's kind of a swelling which has taken place to the crust. The swelling has taken place. This swelling is called as domal uplift, and domal uplift plus this volcanic lava eruptions, they have created this Ethiopian highlands. The Ethiopian highlands are comparatively fertile. Okay, it's a good thing. But the bad thing is, this has created a hilly region. Ethiopia has a lot of undulations, a lot of ups and downs. So because of which you have numerous ethnicities. And all these numerous ethnicities, they have been united under one banner called as Ethiopia. And these ethnic groups, they fight amongst each other. And in Ethiopia also such kind of fighting has happened. And in such scenario, some groups are very important here. So here, I'm talking about such groups. So Amara, okay, this has been already asked in UPSC once, and Oromia, okay. So these are under conflict all the time. And in the northern part, you have a group called as the Tigray group. So recently the Tigray people, okay, have been ethnically persecuted and they had to flee into Ethiopia, Sudan and the surrounding countries, creating a humanitarian crisis. Now, in Amhara region, a group has become very important called as Fano. And Oromia also, okay, you have an important group. Now, in Amhara and Oromia, of course, the people are unhappy. So these rebels are funded by Eritrea, said to be funded by Eritrea, because Ethiopia is a landlocked country and Ethiopia has got a lot of interest having access towards the sea. So Eritrea has got a port. It has got a port called as the Asab port. So Ethiopia को चाहिए Asab port. लेकिन अगर Asab port का access Ethiopia ले लेगा, that is very close to Bab el-Mandeb, then Eritrea, okay, will not be having that advantage. That's why Eritrea wants to create instability in Ethiopia. So that's why it is funding this Amhara and Oromia, okay, rebel groups. And at the junction, so at this tribal junction, you have a region called as this Danakil Depression. So because of the volcanic activity here, the climate has become very hostile, because from the earth, a lot of chemicals are oozing out. You have also water, you have very high amount of sulfur, and it has become a chemical soup. And this chemical soup has made the life inhospitable. And this is there in Ethiopia. Then you have Etta Ale range. So recently a volcano called as Hali Gubi. So this has erupted. See the location here. So this is along the Great African Rifting. Now Addis Ababa is the capital. Asab port, just now you have seen, it's in Ethiopia, it's in Eritrea overlooking Bab el-Mandeb. And Ethiopia is also asking for one more port, so which is there in Somaliland, and this port is called as the Berbera port. Remember these two ports. And recently Somaliland was earlier part of Somalia, but in 1991 it has been separated. So it is, for all practical purposes, it's an independent country, and Somaliland has been recognized. बहुत सारे countries ने recognize नहीं किया, but it has been recognized by what? Israel recently. Okay, because Israel also wants to have a presence here, because Somaliland is also very close. So this is where you have this Somaliland. So this is very close to Bab el-Mandeb. So that's why the Berbera port is important. Afar is a tribal junction. Tigray humanitarian crisis we have seen. And okay, Djibouti, okay, remember the location here. And then, okay, you have this. So Eritrea has entered Ethiopia and counters operations, okay. So Eritrea, because of the Asab port crisis, it is, funding a lot of rebel groups here. Next, Somaliland, you have the Berbera port, okay. Now Somalia is practically split into three. One is the Somaliland, you have the Puntland, and you have the rest of the Somalia. So Somaliland is independent, Puntland is autonomous. Now Israel has recognized this Somali land. So remember this, okay, these are in Horn of Africa near Gulf of Aden. Remember their location with respect to Gulf of Aden. Now this is the Nile River. So Nile River is a very important source of water in the desert region, and the Nile is made up of White Nile and the Blue Nile. Okay, the Blue Nile source is Lake Tana. The source of the White Nile is Victoria. And remember, the Victoria is not a Rift Valley lake. I've shown you various Rift Valley lakes here. So you have some lakes on the eastern side, you have some lakes on the western side, but Lake Victoria is not a Rift Valley lake, it's a freshwater lake. In fact, these lakes are either saline or highly alkaline. Why? Because from the bottom, okay, from the crust, a lot of minerals come, and these minerals get dissolved in the water. So therefore, okay, they become saline or highly alkaline. Now, here the source of the White Nile is highly disputed, and Victoria is considered to be the source, but along this Rift Valley, you also have a lot of mountains on the either side. You have these block mountains, and these block mountains also have a lot of snows and glaciers. So they also feed the White Nile. The White Nile and the Blue Nile, they meet in Khartoum. The Khartoum is the capital of Sudan. Now, it is an important source of water. Now, what Ethiopia is doing is, Ethiopia is building a dam here on Blue Nile called as Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. So remember this dam. And one more important dam which is on Nile is called as Aswan Dam, which is very important for irrigation and cotton production. The world's best cotton is produced there. This PM visited Ghana and Ethiopia. So when it comes to Ghana, you see you have a river called as the White Volta River. On this White Volta River, you have a dam called as Okasombo Dam. And this Okasombo Dam creates Lake Volta. So Lake Volta is one of the largest man-made dam in Africa. So next you have the major East Rift Valley lakes. So in this East Rift Valley lakes, the one very important lake here is Lake Turkana. So Lake Turkana is in the news because the Omo River, which is supposed to feed water in this lake, okay, over this lot of construction, lot of dams have been constructed. That's why it is remaining dry. So all the other lakes you can ignore, only remember this lake. Now in the eastern part, okay, this East African rifting region, okay, you also have important volcanoes. So two important volcanoes in this region are Mount Kenya and Mount Kilimanjaro. So these are Africa's highest, two of the highest peaks also. Now they are inactive volcanoes. So you can look at the location. Mount Kenya is in Kenya, okay, and Mount Kilimanjaro is in Tanzania. The high mountains, okay, along the Rift Valley, you also have these high mountains. So Mitumba, okay, is one mountain. Ravenzori range. So remember this name, Ravenzori. So Ravenzori, okay, feeds a lot of water to the White Nile. Then, okay, you look at the Sudan here. The Sudan also has a lot of autonomous regions. So the geography will tell you why these regions have become autonomous. See, Sudan largely has this Arab culture. You look at the hilly region over here. This hilly region, okay, is volcanic in nature. So once upon a time it was volcano, it's a highland now. So this region is called as the Darfur region. And this Darfur region, you have this non-Arab people. Now, if you want to become a hero, you have to make someone a villain, right? So this Arab people have made this Darfur people, non-Arabs, as villains. A lot of atrocities have been committed on these people of Darfur. Similarly, in the southern side, you see the geography is a bit different over here. The desert is gradually converting into grassland and forest. And there the ethnicity also differs. So when the ethnicity is different and you have a country which is under one banner with numerous ethnicities, languages, and if you're not following unity in diversity, so it will lead to secessions. So same thing has happened in the Sudan also. So you have numerous autonomous regions such as the Blue Nile State, South Kordofan region, Abyei region. Because the South Sudan is extremely rich in oil, And the South Sudan does not have any access towards the sea, whereas the Sudan has the access towards the sea. The South Sudan has been separated in the year 2011, and because of which there are other regions also within Sudan, they are also demanding independence. Now in the Darfur recently, in the news, because El Fashar city has been severely attacked by the paramilitary group called as RSF. So right now in Sudan, the government is gone. The military and paramilitary, they wanted to take over the rule. But now, for the power, this military and paramilitary, both are fighting with each other, and the entire Sudan is under turmoil. It is in the news. And Abyei is a region, generally, people fight. If this is the region which is sandwiched between Sudan and South Sudan, they'll be fighting for a region which is in between. But here, neither Sudan, neither South Sudan, they want this Abyei region. Now, all these are there, explanation is there. You can go through it. Now, Geriza is the irrigated land in the central Sudan region, so which is between Blue Nile and the White Nile. So, this is one of the fertile region. You can remember this. So, next you have this Atlas Mountains in the north. So, just like Himalayas, the Himalayas have numerous ranges. This Atlas Mountain also has numerous ranges. So, it belongs to alpine orogeny, just like Himalayas. Of course, this Atlas region will be making this region, the southern part, rain shadow. The northern part is comparatively fertile, and the western part also comparatively fertile because it will be having rainfall. If the winds are coming from the Mediterranean, or if the winds are coming from the Atlantic, it will be giving rainfall in the windward side, and on the leeward side, it will be kept dry. Now, very important thing here, Morocco has 70% of the world's phosphate, and because of this, it is under conflict also. Now, this Morocco has Bou Azar mine. So this is one of the cobalt mines here, and there is a country called as Western Sahara, and Western Sahara also has this Atlas Mountains. So you see this region over here. So this region is rich in the phosphate deposits. So these phosphate deposits are on the foothills of the Atlas Mountains. Now, if you're having resources, of course there will be conflict. Now Morocco wants to have a monopoly, over this region. But ye kahan pe hai? It's in Western Sahara. Now there's a group called as indigenous group called as Polisario group. The Polisario group is fighting against Morocco for the rights of Sahrawi people. So remember this group, Sahrawi people. It's an ethnic group native to western part of the Sahara, primarily in the Western Sahara region. Next, India-Morocco defense cooperation. The Morocco is also showing interest in Akash NG, and it also supplies 20% of the phosphates to India, and Morocco has monopoly, almost 70% of rock phosphate. And Maghreb region. So this part of the Africa is called as Maghreb region. So Mauritania, Western Sahara, Morocco, Maghreb, Tunisia, and Libya. And the people who live in this region, they are called as the Berbers. So next, in Sahara, you have two plateaus over here, Ahagar and Tibesti. See, this Ahagar and Tibesti, these are predominantly the volcanic plateaus. They are made up of the volcanoes. And this rocky plateaus, desert ke beech mein agar rocky plateau kahin hai, they are called as Hamadas. So why I am telling you this? Because, see, agar geography badalti hai, ethnicity bhi badalti hai. Now, in this Tibesti region, then this Aragar region, especially here in the Ahagar region, you have a group called as the Tuareg group. Now, this Tuareg group, they are also demanding for a separate country. So after the fall of Gaddafi from Libya, so these Tuaregs, उन्होंने बहुत सारे आर्म्स चुरा लिया वहां से. So they have become very strong and they are demanding for their own land. And these Tuareg people are spread in many countries. Now, on what basis, they are demanding? Because you see the facial features of these Tuaregs. So generally, लोग blue color के कपड़े पहनते हैं, and look at their features. Their features are comparatively sharp and they're comparatively fair. So उनको लगता है कि what racially they are comparatively superior as compared to other African people. So on this basis, so they have this racial superiority. So these are traditionally nomadic pastoralists. So next comes the Sahel region. The Sahel region is a transition between the desert and the forest. So northern part is a desert and southern part is a grassland. So wherever you have this transition, okay, in the transition zones, you'll be having again numerous ethnicities. Because forest region में अलग tribes होंगे, desert में अलग tribes होंगे, बीच में जो region है, उनमें mix होगा. So जब भी okay ethnicity या tribal identities mix होते हैं, if one group okay tries to dominate the other, तब लड़ाई झगड़ा शुरू होती है. That's why this entire belt, coup belt भी बोलते हैं इसको. So जितने भी say geography has got a lot of relationship with what is happening. Your geopolitics is related with geography. Your culture, your religion is related with geography. Now why this entire Sahel region, why it is under coup? Because you have numerous groups here. Okay, एक majority होती है, एक minority होती है. तो majority minority को दबाने की कोशिश करता है, वो minority को पसंद नहीं आता. अगर इस region में coincidentally resources है, minerals है, then वो rebel groups को कोई आके fund करता है, कभी रशिया फंड करता है, कभी फ्रांस फंड करता है, कभी यूके फंड करता है, कभी अमेरिका फंड करता है, कभी चाइना फंड करता है. देन दे बिकम सो पावरफुल. अगर रेगल ग्रुप्स को फंड नहीं कर पाते हैं, वहां की जो मिलिट्री है, मिलिट्री को फंड कर देते हैं. व्हाट द मिलिट्री विल डू? द मिलिट्री विल टॉपल द गवर्नमेंट. ओके, एंड दैट इज हाउ द मिलिट्री coups happen. So recently the news is the Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, they have withdrew from ICC, International Criminal Court से, because okay when okay then the military takes over, of course okay there will be alien to civilian administration. Okay, अपने military के तरीके अपनाएंगे, atrocities तो होंगे ही, then International Criminal Court में उनका trial हो सकता है. So that's why they have withdrawn. So once this question has been asked in the UPSC. Now, northern side you have the desert, southern side you have a grassland. Now, if this area is not properly maintained, okay, if it is losing the green cover, then gradually the desert will encroach, the sand will encroach, the sand dunes will keep on shifting, and this process is called as a desertification. एंड थोड़ा बहुत भी आपकी मार्जिनल लैंड जो है ओके थोड़ा बहुत आप वहाँ पे एग्रीकल्चर कर रहे हो, थोड़ा बहुत फर्टाइल है, उसके ऊपर अगर सैंड आ गया एंड दिस प्रोसेस विल बिकम इरिवर्सिबल. दैट्स व्हाई ऑल दिस कंट्रीज ओके दे हैव कम टुगेदर एंड दे हैव बिल्ट ए ग्रेट ग्रीन वॉल. ग्रेट ग्रीन वॉल इज नथिंग बट बीच में पेड़ गाड़ना. सो अर्लियर इट वाज जस्ट अबाउट प्लांटिंग द ट्रीज, बट नाउ इट हैज शिफ्टेड टू integrated land management. So in India also we can do okay to stop the further desertification. Now these are the recent coups here. Okay, the Guinea-Bissau 2025 में coup हुआ था, मडागास्कर में भी coup हो गया था. So हर एक coup के पीछे कोई ना कोई resource होती है. So the Sahel region is currently under global epicenter of new age instability, and this is also called as the coup belt. So example Niger में देखो okay it is very rich in uranium, around 7% of uranium है. And you see this okay Birimian okay greenstone belt okay Mali and Burkina Faso. So this region has a lot of gold, and these people over here they do a type of mining called as artisanal gold mining. So artisanal gold mining means, even this term can be asked in the examination, it's an informal way of extracting gold. यहाँ पे बहुत सारा पानी यूज होता है, बहुत सारा लेबर यूज होता है. ओके, जो भी कीचड़ में जो भी रॉक्स थे उनको ऐसे छन्नी करके उसमें से they take out the gold. So it is highly exploitative. Now you see this Birimian gold belt. So it is stretching among various countries. Ghana में Cote d'Ivoire, okay, Burkina Faso, Guinea, Mali, Senegal. So this belt, this gold belt, is exchanging in various countries. So next you have Liptako Goruma region. So it's a focal point for jihadist insurgencies and non-state armed groups. See, once you don't have a elected government functioning, lot of groups will take over. अब Myanmar में भी देख रहे हो, so there are lot of insurgencies. Once the military takes over, बाकी सब लोग टूट पड़ेंगे. And this region is located between Mali, Burkina Faso and neighbor. So remember this region. They can ask between which three countries it is located. Now see a country called as Sierra Leone. Okay, you have an island called as a Nangai Island. So this has been undergoing submergence because of increasing sea levels. Next, you see the Niger River. Here you have Guinea Highlands. So these islands, Guinea Highlands, they have 25% of the world's bauxite, and it is also source of the Niger River. And this Niger River delta is very rich in hydrocarbons also. And look at the flow of the river. So they may not ask you from which all countries it is flowing through. लेकिन पूछ सकता है कि whether it is flowing into the Atlantic Sea or Gulf of Guinea. So this Gulf of Guinea produces 90% of the Nigeria's crude oil, but it faces oil spills because इतना formal नहीं है, technology इतना high नहीं है, and यहाँ पे जितने भी countries है, almost they are under a military coup. Their economy is not doing so good. So that's why the piracy groups, okay, the armed militancy also develops. So that's why they're disrupting global and Indian oil supplies. And Nigeria will be top 10 in terms of oil reserves. Next you have Lake Chad Basin, very important. They can ask you the location of the Lake Chad. So previously the location of the Cameroon also has been asked in the examination just 2 years ago. So Cameroon, Nigeria, Niger, Chad. So in between you have this Lake Chad Basin. It is shallow, shrinking, and it has become the epicenter of Boko Haram and ISWAP, that is Islamic State in West African province. So this ISWAP and Boko Haram, they were part of the same group, but in 2016 they have been separated because of some ideological differences. You don't need any of this, itna zaruri nahi hai. Boko Haram literally means Western education is forbidden. Basically, apna mudda hota hai. Next, you have the Borno state. So this is Nigeria. In the northeast part of the Nigeria, this Borno group, okay, has become the stronghold of Boko Haram. You see these countries here, which are there in Africa. So this is all transition zone. ये पूरा transition है, is part of the Sahel. So there is a lot of cultural difference between the southern part and the northern part. Generally in the northern part you have Muslim population, in the southern part you have Christian population. So this Christian-Muslim conflict, okay, has given rise to a lot of military coups, armed conflicts, and a lot of piracy, etc. So next one is Guinea Shield region. This we have already discussed. It's rich in iron ore also. Don't remember this, not that important. Bauxite is important here, 25%. And यहाँ से rivers भी निकलती हैं. Okay, again you can ignore that, except one river, that is the Niger River. This Guinea-Bissau, okay, which is a recent one, okay, which has undergone military coup. Important because cashew exports. So 98% of the cashews to India, they come from Guinea-Bissau. And here you have Bijagos Archipelago. You see here islands. So this is a UNESCO, okay, World Heritage Site, also natural site. And in terms of biodiversity also, it is very rich. Next you have Sao Tome and Principe. So Central African island nation, it has become the first state to have entire territory designated as biosphere reserve. So this is also there in Gulf of Guinea. You can look at the location here. Equatorial Guinea hai, Gabon hai, Cameroon hai, okay, below Nigeria. Pura desh ka desh, okay, it has become a biosphere reserve. So next you have the Congo Basin. The Congo Basin is world's largest tropical peatland complex. Okay, means it stores a very large amount of carbon because you have the Congo River here. The Congo River has created a lot of marshy land. It has created a lot of peatland. Peat is nothing but the soil which is highly rich in carbon. So it stores a very large amount of carbon. So in terms of the storage of the carbon, the Siberia, Western Siberia plateau comes first. Of course, it is a tundra region, and tundra region will be having a lot of permafrost. So above the permafrost, you'll have a very large amount of carbon stored because it will be having ephemeral vegetation. During summer, you'll be having seasonal vegetation. This vegetation will die. Once it dies, जब winter आता है, इसके ऊपर ice उसको दबाता है. ऐसे over a period of time, okay, a very large amount of carbon is deposited. And the second one, okay, second highest is this Congo Basin, very important. So talking about the Congo Basin, okay, on the Congo River, in DRC, Inga Dam site. If this is completed, then it is capable of powering half of the African continent. Next, within the Congo Basin, you have Lake Mai Dombe and Lake Tumba, DRC. So the DRC, the Congo Basin has a lot of peatlands. It acts as a reservoir of very large amount of carbon. But now, because of the global warming, because of the heat, because of lack of water, it is releasing carbon instead of storing the carbon. This long-term storage of the carbon is called as carbon sequestration. And they are just 0.3% of the Earth's land surface, but they hold 1/3 of the carbon. Next, the Lobito Corridor. It's in Angola, DRC, and Zambia. So this DRC is very rich in minerals. It is very rich in cobalt, and cobalt is used in lithium-ion batteries. It's also rich in copper. Now here, this project is backed by the USA and EU. It's a counter to BRI. Now these are building this corridor. You can see this corridor. There's a place called as Lobito. So Lobito is on the coast of Angola. So this line will be helping in extracting the minerals out of Africa. India is also currently negotiating this mineral access agreement, okay, so that India will get cobalt and copper. And copper is very important for the electrical industry. So next you have a country called as the Botswana here. So Botswana is very infamous for a lot of blood diamonds, because this entire region is part of the Katanga Shield region. And Katanga Shield region is very important for the minerals. So it's Africa's diamond powerhouse, world's #1 by value, #2 by volume. So in terms of volume, Russia is first. In Russia, you get a lot of industrial grade diamonds. That is, Russian diamonds are, they are very tough. You can use it as a cutting material. So that's why it is used in the industry. Now, why it is in the news? President Murmu's 2025 visit. And also we got a lot of cheetahs. Okay, cheetahs from Botswana. We got cheetahs from 3 countries: Namibia, South Africa, and Botswana. So the cheetahs which we got in India, it's African cheetah. It's not Asiatic cheetah. And here, Javaneng Orapa mines, these are very famous because These diamonds which are coming from here, they are processed in Surat, India. And one more important delta here is Okavango Delta. So Okavango Delta is created by Okavango River. So it's an inland delta. So a very large marshy area is created. So it is located in southern hemisphere. So this savanna grasslands, it's there in the southern hemisphere, also in the northern hemisphere. This is all savanna. So whenever there is a summers in the northern hemisphere, right now, like abhi May chal raha hai, so the animals will be going into the southern hemisphere. So जब भी यहाँ पे बारिश आती है, तो बहुत सारे animals आते हैं यहाँ पे. Next, you have a country called as Mozambique. The Mozambique channel, this is also a very important choke point here. So India के बहुत सारे energy imports आते हैं यहाँ से, and it's also in the Western Indian Ocean region. So Mozambique channel is located between Madagascar and Mozambique. And in the northern side of the Mozambique, you have a region called as Cabo Delgado. So Cabo Delgado has ISIS Mozambique. So यहाँ पे एक ISIS का एक branch है, and if you are having militancy in the region, obviously वहाँ पे कुछ ना कुछ resource होगा. So it has significant natural gas and graphite reserves, and India को भी यहाँ से supplies आती है. Next, Rovuma Basin. So Rovuma Basin, okay, you have a river called as Rovuma River. So on the bank of this Rovuma River, so you have a lot of natural gas. So OVL, ONGC Videsh Limited, it has got a lot of investments, and यहाँ पे gas को compress करते हैं, compress करके ship में डालते हैं, and then it comes to India. Next, one more country which has undergone military coup, okay, is the Madagascar. This is also called as Zenzi Mada. So in exam they can ask you Zenzi Mada is associated with what? So यहाँ पे because of unemployment, see बहुत सारा unemployment हो जाता है, youth को कुछ job नहीं मिलता, वो क्या करेंगे? वो आके रोड के ऊपर आके revolution करेंगे. Obviously, okay, any civilian government won't be able to take over. So military बोलती है कि जब तक civilian government form नहीं होता, so military देखभाल करेगी, and जब आपके पास power आ जाएगा, वो power को continue करता रहेगा. So this is the Genzi Mada. This massive basaltic escarpment, okay, I told you the southern part of Africa, you have a range called as Drakensberg. So Drakensberg is just like the Western Ghats, which has been created because of divergence. So यहाँ पे भी बहुत सारे basaltic eruptions है. And this is called as Lesotho. So with this, which is within Drakensberg, it's very important for a lot of diamonds. Next, a new lithium triangle. एक lithium triangle है वहाँ पे South America में. So which is between Bolivia, Argentina and Chile. So यहाँ पे एक lithium triangle है which is emerging in Zimbabwe, Namibia and Mali. Now in Namibia you have a desert called as the Namib Desert. So इसकी speciality क्या है? So Namib Desert is the only desert in the world where sand dunes meet the sea. यहाँ पे sand dunes भी बहुत massive है, 50 मीटर के sand dunes होते हैं. And this is also said to be world's oldest desert. Means Africa का position यहाँ पे ज़्यादा shift नहीं हुआ. So this desert is around 55 million years old. मतलब around 50 million years से ये desert ही रहा है. So that's why it has become the old desert. So next, let's enter into EU. So India EU free trade agreement. अभी इस context में they can ask you which are the following countries of EU. So EU के members कौन है? ये याद रखने से अच्छा है EU के members कौन नहीं है. So Iceland है, Norway है, recently Britain ने यहाँ पे exit किया है. You have the Switzerland, okay? So you can SINB something of this sort. और SIN remember करो, Britain तो वैसे ही याद रहेगा. SIN countries are not there. Now, why Norway is not there? See, Norway and Iceland के लिए फिशिंग बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. अगर आप EU के पार्ट बन गए, so some of the rights you have to forego. स्विट्जरलैंड क्यों नहीं है? बिकॉज इट वांट्स टू मेंटेन न्यूट्रलिटी. एंड यूके क्यों एग्जिट किया भैया उन्हीं को पता है. उन क्यों एग्जिट किया है, राइट? नाउ ईयू में इफ यू वांट टू बी पार्ट, सो मेनी अदर मेंबर्स आल्सो. ओके, बहुत सारे लोग कंटेंट कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे कोई भी पार्ट नहीं है. ओके, आपका यूक्रेन पार्ट नहीं है, बेलारूस तो ऑफ कोर्स पार्ट नहीं होगा. सो दे आर आल्सो वांटिंग द मेंबरशिप. लेकिन इफ यू वांट टू बी पार्ट ऑफ द ईयू, so which is also a monetary union, same currency होगी, so you have to come up with a lot of clean governance. आपके justice system ढंग से होना चाहिए, elections ढंग से होना चाहिए, anti corruption system has to be very strong, rule of law has to be followed, etc. So recently Albania, Albania, it wants to become the member. So Albania is bringing a lot of changes. And जो भी public procurement है, अगर सरकार को कुछ चीजें चाहिए उसके लिए वो टेंडर डालती है. So for making this tender neat and clean, it is coming up with an app called as Dela app. So it is the reforms which are being made by Albania, so that it can join EU. Now recently Albania में severe floods भी हुआ है. You can look at the countries which are around Albania. So remember this, we'll discuss this separately. Kosovo, Serbia, Montenegro, Macedonia, we'll discuss this separately. And the sea which is beside this is called as Adriatic Sea. Next, Abhi, India is signing an FTA with EU, लेकिन बाकी जो countries बचे हैं उनके साथ separate agreement sign करना पड़ेगा. So India EFTA, that is, it is signing an agreement with these countries. That is, जो countries बचे, सिन countries अब मैंने बोला है. So इसमें one more add कर लो आप, Liechtenstein. So you can make it as LISN, something like that. You can make your own abbreviation over here. Next, talking about L here, you have Liechtenstein. You have 6 other micro states within Europe. So ये हो गया Andorra, which is located within Pyrenees mountain, which is between your Spain and France. And Monaco जो है south of France है, it's famous, आपने reels में वगैरह देखा होगा, बहुत सारे rich people यहाँ पे आते हैं. Vatican City आपका पोप है. San Marino, of course Liechtenstein, which is near Switzerland. And you have a small state called as Malta in the Mediterranean. No, Russian military plane has entered neutral airspace over Baltic, prompting German Eurofighter scrambles. Now you see here, you see Kaliningrad here. This Kaliningrad belongs to Russia. And इस तरफ Russia है. And till very recently, Sweden and Finland, they were not part of NATO. So recently in 24 and 23 में Finland has become the member. 24 में Sweden has become the member of NATO. अभी Finland member बनने के बाद, so this side you have Russia. So the border of NATO with Russia has increased enormously. So in this context, now this zone, this region has become highly militarized. यहाँ पे पूरा militarized बन गया. So Russian military plane has entered here. So Russia का military plane Baltic में आ सकता है भाई, क्योंकि this Kaliningrad जो है ये Russia को belong करता है. And this Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, these three are called as Baltic states because they are beside the Baltic Sea. Then बाकी यहाँ पे countries है उनको Baltic states क्यों नहीं बोलेंगे? Because earlier Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, they were part of USSR. So USSR के part थे जो Baltic Sea के पास है, that's why they are called as Baltic states. And these three, since from the beginning they are the member of NATO. जब वो separate हो गए थे, डर के मारे सीधा आके join कर लिया था NATO में. So that's why this region is important. Remember these two, Gulf of Bothnia is between Sweden and Finland. You have Gulf of Finland. So Gulf of Finland has a border with Russia. St. Petersburg है यहाँ पे. It's a city of Russia. So you have this Gulf of Finland, and you have small Gulf over here. This is called as Gulf of Riga. So this is between Estonia and Latvia. And the Baltic Sea. So on this side you have this Atlantic. So Baltic Sea से आपको Atlantic में जाना है. So you have to come across this Kattegat, Skagerrak, and then enter here. अभी एक शॉर्टकट भी मार सकते हैं. You have a city called as Kiel in Germany. So यहाँ पे एक canal है. This is called as Kiel Canal. So the Kiel Canal connects the Baltic with the यहाँ पे North Sea है, and North Sea we can say that is the marginal sea of the Atlantic. So Kiel Canal connects the North Sea with the Baltic. So remember all these locations. So Gulf of Bothnia, don't get confused the Gulf of Bothnia with Gulf of Bhutia. Gulf of Bhutia is in Canada. Now, from this Gulf of Finland, you have two locations here. So you have this Nord Stream pipeline. So Nord Stream 1, Nord Stream 2. So before this Ukraine war, the Russia used to supply a lot of oil and gas to the Europe. And Europe में winters में room की जो heating वो gas से होती है. And बहुत सारे industries जो है यूरोप में उनको एनर्जी गैस से आती है. सो earlier रशिया used to supply, लेकिन अभी यूएसए ने यूरोप को बोला भाई आपको रशिया से नहीं खरीदना है बिकॉज रशिया मेरी एनिमी है. भाई ये यूएसए है, हर जगह आके ऐसे ही टांग लड़ाता है. इंडिया को भी बोलता है भाई तुमको ऑयल नहीं खरीदना है रशिया से, ईरान से नहीं खरीदना है. क्या ये है हेजिमनी? हाँ. So next, Estonia has sought NATO consultation. Okay. अभी NATO का members को भी ध्यान रखना है. I told you recently Finland has become a member, Sweden has become a member. Very important. Okay. Recently, okay, North Macedonia, Montenegro. Okay. You can ignore this part. So remember these two, Finland and Sweden. Now, which countries cannot be the part? Sweden, not part because it wants to maintain neutrality. Ireland, again it wants to maintain neutrality. Malta, neutrality. Serbia जो है, okay, वो सर्बिया में बहुत सारे एथनिक स्लाव, रशिया है, रशिया का बहुत अच्छा दोस्त है. ऑफ कोर्स बेलारूस भी रशिया का अच्छा दोस्त है. ये सब वॉर चालू हुआ बिकॉज यूक्रेन वांटेड टू जॉइन नाटो. सो वहीं से वॉर शुरू हुआ था पूरा. सो बोस्निया हर्जेगोविना, okay, it is aspiring again. And you have this Cyprus because यहाँ पे Turkey और Cyprus is divided into two, okay, Turkey, okay, and Greece, okay, because of this. Moldova, okay, यहाँ पे Russian influence है. Transnistria, okay, यहाँ पे एक independent republic, independent, okay, province है which is under conflict again. Then you have Georgia is also aspiring. But Russia has occupied territories, we have discussed this, Abkhazia and South Ossetia. So this is the NATO and non-NATO. So this is the Kaliningrad, which is Russian province, and ये पूरा CSTO है. Okay, पूरा Russian है, ये पूरा NATO है. Now this is the Poland, and these three are the Baltic states. And दोनों के बीच में एक छोटा सा corridor है. This is called as the Suwalki corridor. So it is a narrow corridor between Poland and Lithuania. It is strategically important because it is the only overhead link between the Baltic states and the NATO. So this is also in the news. Please इसका ध्यान रखना. Next, there is 3 C's initiative. Now economic development के लिए, energy security के लिए, transport infrastructure के लिए, digital communication के लिए 3 C's. So which are these 3 C's here? So Black Sea के around जो countries है, यहाँ पे Adriatic Sea है, उसके around जो countries है, and then you have this Baltic Sea. So around these 3 seas, the countries have come together for this cooperation. Next, India's Denmark's Green Strategic Partnership. So when it comes to Denmark, So Denmark is here above Germany, and we have discussed this Kattegat, Skagerrak, and this Kiel Canal. So these are the important locations here. So then you see, if Russia wants to have access towards the Atlantic, towards the North Sea, then this Baltic Sea will play a very important role. The Kiel Canal will be playing a very important role. And agar Russia ko, there is one more way by which it can get connected. There's a Black Sea, Istanbul, Sea of Marmara, Aegean Sea, then it can enter into Mediterranean. So this is how the Russia can enter into the outer world. So in this context, so we'll see, the President of French Republic paid official visit to India. So these are some of the important locations over here. See, this is, massive, is not that important. So Vosges is the block mountain. So Vosges on the German side, it is called as Black Forest. And dono ke beech mein, you have a river called as the Rhine River. And jahan pe bhi rifting hoti hai, in the rift, the Rhine Rift, which is also called as the Ruhr Valley, is very important for the coal reserves. And यहाँ पे industrial revolution भी बहुत सारा हुआ है. Jura mountain जो है, एक Alps का ही part है, and जो Pyrenees है, the Pyrenees are separating the Spain with the France. So these are you can go through it. Not that important. This is a static part. Now, Slovenia recent push for deepening economic ties. So this is where you have this Slovenia. So in this context, I want to talk about the erstwhile Yugoslavia. So this is the erstwhile Yugoslavia. And in erstwhile Yugoslavia, the Serbians used to dominate a lot. The Serbians had a lot of ethnic Slav population, means Russian ethnic population है, बाकी सब लोगों को dominate करते थे. So domination किसी को पसंद नहीं आएगा, धीरे धीरे one by one they got separated. And 2008 में Kosovo भी separate हो गया. And now the Vojvodina, even this is wanting autonomy here. Okay, so that's why it's in the news. Now in this context they can ask, which of the following countries have the coast with the Adriatic Sea? This is the Adriatic Sea. See, Slovenia का कोस्ट है, क्रोएशिया का तो बहुत बड़ा कोस्ट है, इवन बोस्निया हेर्जेगोविना एटलस में नहीं दिखेगा लेकिन इसका भी कोस्ट है, ऑफ कोर्स मोंटेनिग्रो का कोस्ट है. Albania is not part of erstwhile Yugoslavia. So remember all the country names here which are part of erstwhile Yugoslavia, and especially Vojvodina and Kosovo. Remember these two. Now you see the Greenland. Now recently Trump told that we should take over the Greenland because Greenland जो है 90% of it is covered with the ice. Look, Greenland is the shield region. So Greenland is very rich in metalliferous minerals. And if you have access to the Greenland, you can also have access to the Arctic. The Arctic is very rich in oil. And Greenland actually belongs to Denmark. It is autonomous. So Greenland में बहुत सारा ग्राफाइट है, यूरेनियम है, पता नहीं एग्जाम में जो भी मिनरल आए लिख देना क्योंकि अभी अभी डिस्कवर हो रहा है. Now the Greenland देखो, they can also ask you who are the neighbors of the Greenland. So you can also have maritime neighbors. Of course, it's a land, it's a island. You won't be having any land bordering countries. You'll be having the maritime bordering countries. देखो कौन कौन है इसके पड़ोसी लोग. आइसलैंड है, नॉर्वे है, रशिया है, यूएसए है यहाँ से देखो, and of course Canada तो है ही है. So it is most of it is in the northern side of the North Circle. So tundra है, यहाँ पे permafrost है. So most of it is covered by the ice. So it's a shield region. It is rich in metalliferous minerals. So it will be having very long coastline because you see the coast of the Greenland. The coast of the Greenland, lot of fjords. It has indented coastline, both are irregular coastline. So that's why the coastline is also very long. देखो 39,000 kilometers. Now this is the Iberian Peninsula, which is made up of Portugal and Spain. So यहाँ पे white Iberian Sphinx दिखा. So Iberian Peninsula is in the news, geography point of view. Okay. Next, vital choke point, Strait of Gibraltar. So स्टेट ऑफ जिब्राल्टर जो है लगता है कि स्पेन और मोरक्को के बीच में है, लेकिन जिब्राल्टर दिस इज ओन्ड बाय यूके एंड क्यूटा इट इज ओन्ड बाय स्पेन. अगर एग्जाम में आया द स्टेट ऑफ जिब्राल्टर इज लोकेटेड बिटवीन UK in the north and Spain in the south, then also it is a correct statement. Now so you have two Spanish enclaves, okay, in Morocco. One is Ceuta, one is Melilla. So Valencia recently had floods, okay, this is a location of Valencia, okay, in Spain. And then remember these islands here, Azores, okay, it belongs to Portugal, and Madeira again it belongs to Portugal, and Canary Islands it belongs to Spain. Azores is famous for, okay, Azores high, आपने geography में पढ़ा होगा, a high pressure form होता है, which also creates, okay, maritime tropical air mass, which is important for your temperate cyclones and bomb cyclones, etc. And Madeira and Canary, okay, they have been important because a lot of migration comes from here, illegal migration. And Canary Island is also famous for your this Canary current, which is a cold current which is responsible for the desert of Africa. So remember these three islands, group of islands here. And talking about Russia-Ukraine war, you have two regions, Lugansk and Donetsk. These are practically republics. These are separate. Because the eastern part of the Ukraine has a lot of Russian ethnic population. Obviously they support Russia. And also this region has coal called as the Donbass coal. You have a river called as Don River. So this Don River, you have Don River, you have Volga River here. This is Volga, this is Don. This Volga and Don are connected by a canal. So this is how navigation is possible, okay, between these two. And Volga is further connected to the Baltic Sea through again a canal. Now this Don River will be flowing into Azov. This is called as Sea of Azov. And this is the Crimean Peninsula. ये वाला जो part है, this is Crimean Peninsula. In 2014, it has been annexed by Russia. This also has a lot of Russian ethnic population. And this is the Strait of Kerch. Kerch Strait. The Kerch Strait separates Sea of Azov with the rest of the Black Sea. So this is the geography of this region. And some important ports here. Mariupol. Mariupol is an important port of Sea of Azov. And of course the Kerch we have discussed. And Sevastopol is the Russian naval base. So this is the main reason why the Russia has annexed Crimea. Now you have two ports, okay. Mariupol anyways you have seen, Odessa port. So Odessa port is important because, okay, it supplies a lot of grain, oil and chemicals. And Mariupol is important because of steel, iron and coal. So whatever is written here, okay, please remember all of this. So next you have the Black Sea is connected to the rest of the, okay, Mediterranean through the Strait of Bosphorus है यहाँ पे. Through Strait of Bosphorus के ऊपर you have this city called as the Istanbul. Then you'll be going into Sea of Marmara. Then you have Strait of Dardanelles. Then Aegean Sea. From Aegean Sea you'll be going into the Mediterranean Sea. And these two straits, Strait of Dardanelles and Strait of Bosphorus, these are also called as the Turkish Straits. So study a little bit about the Turkish Straits. So this is the geography part here. And remember the location of Georgia as well. We have discussed the Caucasus and the geopolitics. Next is South America. So this is all the Andes, Rockies, the Alps and Himalayas. Okay, all this belong to tertiary mountain orogeny, which have been created around 65 million years ago. And these are Guyana highlands. So this is an old shield region and which is also rich in resources. And this is all the Brazilian highlands here. These Brazilian highlands, these are rich in the iron ore here. And in between you have this Amazon basin. This is the Amazon basin. And here you have the Patagonia. The Patagonia is made up of the basalt. Okay, just like how the Deccan lava plateau has been created, this is also a lava plateau. And here you have the Pampas. The Pampas is a tropical grassland. So these are the broad physiographic divisions. More details we'll see. Now, these kind of questions can be asked here in this mapping part. I haven't discussed many questions here because of the time constraint. And आपके ज़ंजी के generation को सब कुछ छोटे से time में चाहिए. So that's why I could not discuss the thing from the roots. So I'm discussing some facts and facts. So these kind of questions can be asked. You can go through. Now, let's talk about the Venezuela. So Venezuela tensions have exceeded. Now why the USA has annexed Venezuela? Because Venezuela has around 20% of the world's oil. Now some people say that yes sir, Iran war है, ये USA की conspiracy है. अब Strait of Hormuz जब block हो जाएगा, जहाँ से 25% of the world's oil आती है, then लोग कहाँ से खरीदेंगे oil? Obviously USA के पास आएंगे and Venezuela के पास आएंगे. Venezuela किसके control में? US में. So it is a strategy by which the USA wants to build its own economy. It wants to revive its own economy. This is one of the game plans. Now, when it comes to Venezuela, you have Lake Maracaibo. Lake Maracaibo is extremely rich in oil. ये जो Llanos दिख रहा है आपको, Llanos. So you have this, Orinoco Delta. So this is all Orinoco basin. So the Orinoco Delta is also very rich in oil. So Orinoco के mouth में you have a country called as Trinidad and Tobago. So यहाँ पे बहुत सारा Indian population है. You see Llanos here. So Llanos are the tropical grasslands. And see Andes, the Andes is also extending into Venezuela. You see previously one question has been asked, in which of the following countries you have the Andes. So Venezuela भी दिया है यहाँ पे. So clearly you can see the map here. So the Andes are extending into the Venezuela also. Now, this Lake Maracaibo में इतना oil है, and Lake Maracaibo has a lot of moisture also, and because of which a lot of cumulonimbus clouds will be formed because of excessive evaporation, and because of this clouds and because of the turbulence in the atmosphere, a lot of lightning is also created, and this lightning is called as Catatumbo lightning, which happens in Lake Maracaibo. And we have discussed this Llanos, Andes. So Guiana Highlands, extremely rich in minerals. The Guiana Islands also has the Angel Falls, so world's highest uninterrupted waterfall. And it is also rich, it is also linked to something called as Tipuas. You can see the Tipuas here. The Tipuas is made up of quartz sandstone. And this land rises abruptly. ऐसा table land के जैसा, ऐसा plateau के जैसा दिखेगा, which has a height of around 1,000 to 3,000 meters. So it looks like as if it's hanging in the sky. And यहाँ का जो ऊपर का जो ecosystem है, because यहाँ पे rainfall is different, temperature is different. So the ecosystem here and ecosystem below is different. And the animals which are here at the bottom, are different from the animals which are at the top. Plants and animals, both. So that's why it will develop a unique ecosystem. These are also called as the islands in the sky. And these have high endemism. Means the plants and animals which are there in this region are not available anywhere. So यहाँ पे separate study होती है. If you want to study the evolution, you can study these islands in the sky. So that's why they are also called as Galapagos. They are compared to the Galapagos. And Angel Falls is coming from one such Tipuas. So it falls from the Churun River, which is tributary of Caroni River, which with itself will be flowing into the Orinoco River. The president of Brazil has visited India. So Brazil के northern part में देखो, you have this Guyana Highlands again. And then, so this is all Brazilian highlands. We'll see the various locations over here. So the Brazil, it is in northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. It has 60% of the Amazon rainforest. And it is the world's largest coffee producer, contributing to 35% to 40% of the coffee. Similarly, sugar cane production भी 35 to 40% है. Now sometimes, आपने recently कहीं current affair book list में वगैरह देखा होगा, India has become the top sugar producer etc. ऐसा आपने पढ़ा होगा, which is not true. Brazil is topping. पता नहीं वो कहाँ पे कौन सा quarter में लिया होगा, कौन सा इसमें लिया होगा, but which is not true. Don't get confused regarding that. Now Amazon is a major river here. So one of the major tributaries of Amazon is this Tapajos River. So remember Tapajos River because you have a people called as Munduruku people, Munduruku indigenous people. So recently when the COP summit has happened in Belem, so they have made a lot of protests because they want to stop the deforestation of the Amazon, and they also want their territories to be demarcated. So separate territories who मांग रहे हो अपने territories so that they can protect. Because recently Brazilian government has been building a lot of highways, oil exploration कर रहा है. So remember the name of the tribe, Mundukuru. So ये रहते हैं Tapajos River के along, in the Para state. The rest of the things you can ignore. Then you have this Brazilian highlands you can see on the eastern side here. So the earlier आपने पढ़ा होगा this Brazil and Africa, they were together. They fit like a jigsaw puzzle. They were separated. That's why the eastern side of the plateau is nothing but a block mountain escarpment because Africa से टूट के बना हुआ है. Then you have south में you have this sedimentary plateau and basaltic lava flows. And central plateau, the central plateau region is also called as Mato Grosso. It is geologically very old. Again, it is rich in minerals. Next, Guyana Highlands, old region, rich in minerals. Amazon basins, forest है, world's largest tropical forest है. Pampas जो है, that is temperate grasslands which you have already seen. You have a region called as Cerrado. It is nothing but savanna. It's a woodland savanna. Drought resistant grasses है, just like जो अफ्रीका में savanna है वैसे ही है. But जहाँ पे भी आजकल grasslands है, they have been taken over by agriculture. Now you have the Caatinga. The Caatinga is on the eastern side यहाँ पे. So this is a rain shadow region, semi-arid region है, lot of scrub forest है. You'll have a lot of cacti-like plants over here. So next you have pantanals. The pantanal is a wetland, largest tropical wetland in the world because when you go to tundra region, obviously you will be having a lot of wetlands. So this is located between three countries, Bolivia, Brazil and Paraguay. You can remember PBB, something like this. It has very high density of jaguars, बहुत सारे crocodiles भी यहाँ पे. It is very rich in terms of biodiversity. The earthquake has hit Peru. Now Peru is very rich in terms of copper. It's very rich in terms of silver also. World का 20% silver है, around 10% यहाँ पे copper है. And this region which you see, the Chile and Peru, a pura copper belt hai. So this is where you have the Atacama Desert also. So Chile, Peru combined has around 30% of the world's copper. So this is in the Atacama Desert region, and copper is very important for your electric industry. आपके जितने भी ये सब semiconductors, computers ये सब बन रहे हैं उसमें बहुत important है. You have Filo del Sol. So it is a copper and gold silver mining project which is located on Chile-Argentina border. It's the world's largest greenfield copper deposit in South America. So this is where it is located, Chile and Argentina में. Next, when it comes to copper, so Chile, has around 35% of the reserves. And in terms of production also, Chile is very high. So here also you have seen कॉपर रिजर्व्स इज अ परसेंटेज. ओके, चिली यहाँ पे 19% दिया है. नो समटाइम्स प्रूवन रिजर्व्स ये सब अलग होंगे, बट इन टर्म्स ऑफ ओके कॉपर यू रिमेंबर चिली. So next, copper is very important. Electrical conductivities, heat sink की तरह काम करते हैं, etc. You can go through it. Science and technology का part है. Now you see here, okay, Haiti. You see, Haiti and Dominican Republic. So this island is called as Hispaniola. So Hispaniola, and recently earthquake has happened. Okay, because of gang violence, a lot of people have to be displaced from Haiti. The Haiti is also one of the very poor countries, extremely poor. In fact, in the Western Hemisphere, it is the only poor country, most poor country. Next, the fields of wild coal. Okay, in terms of lithium. Okay, recently India में भी discovery हुआ है lithium का around 5.9 million tons का. And Bolivia, Argentina, Chile. Okay, these three countries also form something called as the lithium triangle. So in lithium triangle, these lakes are very important. Okay, you have these. Okay, Atacama lake hai, Uni lake hai, and here you have this Olaros lake. So these lakes, okay, when they become dry, okay, you get a lot of brine, a lot of salt. इसका जो brine solution में जो salt निकलता है, इसमें lithium होता है. Because the sodium and lithium, they are on the same column of the periodic table. अगर sodium भी मिल रहा है, lithium भी मिलेगा. So these are found in the Andean mountains. आप location आप देखोगे, this is in Andean mountains. So how the Andean mountains are made up of? These are nothing but marine deposits. So marine deposits which have been uplifted. So यहाँ पे lakes में जो है, okay, बहुत सारा brine salt solution मिलता है, उसमें से आप lithium भी extract कर सकते हो. एंड हिमालयस में देखो आप कहाँ पे मिलता है. ओके, इंडिया में जम्मू एंड कश्मीर में पीर पांजल में. अगेन, सो इफ यू वांट टू टेक ए वाइल्ड गेस इन एग्जामिनेशन, इफ यू डोंट हैव एनी आइडिया, देन अगर लिथियम कहाँ मिलती है तो ओके यू कैन टेक सच काइंड ऑफ गेसेस. आप ये लॉजिकल कनेक्टिविटी बना सकते हो. इट्स ऑल्सो कॉल्ड एज वर्ल्ड्स लार्जेस्ट मिरर, बिकॉज नीचे नमक है, ऊपर जब थोड़ा बहुत पानी आता है ना, इट विल लुक लाइक ए मिरर. सो दिस सला डी यूनी, okay, which is there, it is also world's largest Ramsar site in terms of area. Now India में जम्मू एंड कश्मीर ने okay lot of resources have been inferred. Okay, अभी तक पूरी तरह यहाँ पे कुछ extraction नहीं हुआ है, अभी research ही चल रहा है. And राजस्थान में क्यों मिलेगा? Because राजस्थान में you have a lot of okay this playa lakes है, salt water lakes है, जैसे सांबर लेक है, जिडवाना है, कुचमान है, तो उसमें वैसे भी निकल सकता है. Next you have this wildfires which have been in Argentina. So okay, Chile में, Argentina में you have this wildfires because of excessive dryness, climate change. Okay, अगर बारिश बहुत दिनों से नहीं हुआ, वहाँ पे heat wave आ गया, आपने forest को अगर सही से ढंग से manage नहीं किया, then wildfires can happen. They happened in Patagonia also, they have happened in Chile as well. You can look at the reasons over here. And moreover, monoculture because of pine cultivation. जो pine के जो needles होती है, उसकी calorific value high होती है. जो pine में जो जो तेल होता है, it will be acting as powder kegs. एक what बारूद की तरह काम करेगा, जो जंगल को जलाएगा. Now coming to Australia. So Australia is the first country to have social media ban for the under 16. So dolphin sands. So यहाँ पे Tasmania में okay you have okay small island called as dolphin sands. So यहाँ पे fire हुआ है. And off the coast of Australia you have this Caucasus Island. The Caucasus Island is very important for quad grouping. And so these Caucasus Islands, they can also act as a okay aircraft carrier in the ocean. So अगर okay USA को okay इसके ऊपर कंट्रोल करना है okay स्टेट ऑफ मलक्का के ऊपर या लंबोक स्टेट के ऊपर, सुंडा स्टेट के ऊपर, so this will act as a what aircraft carrier. So next Cocos Island. Okay, ये Cocos Island ये ऑस्ट्रेलिया का अलग है. Okay, and अंडमान निकोबार आइलैंड ग्रुप के ऊपर एक Cocos Island है, that is also different. There is a Cocos Channel. The Cocos Channel separate Andaman group of islands with the Myanmar. Okay, so this is different and that is different. Both are alag-alag hai. Now, okay, now collapse of Ganyopara. So this is a flower pot kind of a coral, okay, which is there in the Great Barrier Reef of Australia. So Australia, off the okay coast of the Queensland, you have this reef, okay, earlier it was considered to be thermally tolerant, but again, okay, you have a lot of diseases, okay, black band disease हुआ है, okay, mortality rate is very high. Because of the heat wave also, they are getting destroyed. And there is a location called as One Tree Island in the GBR, which has been destroyed very badly. And India's research station in Antarctica. So यहाँ पे मैत्री दिख रहा है आपको, भारती दिख रहा है, दक्षिण गंगोत्री दिख रहा है. So दक्षिण गंगोत्री has been decommissioned, उसका ओल्ड हो गया, काम खत्म हो गया. अभी मैत्री भी काफी पुराना हो चुका है. अभी मैत्री के प्लेस में मैत्री 2 आएगा. ओके, भारती इज फंक्शनिंग. एंड हियर रिमेंबर दीज टू सीज, वेडल सी एंड रॉस सी. दीज टू रिमेंबर, यहाँ पे रॉन आइस शेल्फ है, वेडल आइस शेल्फ है, रॉस आइस शेल्फ, ओके, एंड रॉन आइस शेल्फ. रॉन आइस शेल्फ इज इन वेडल सी. So this ice shelves, okay, these are getting destroyed, these are melting, these are falling into the sea. So that's why, okay, these 2 seas are important. Okay, so these are the research stations. You can look at the list here. In the Arctic, okay, you have 2 research stations. One is Himadri, which is in Svalbard, Norway. Okay, other is Indark, that is also in Svalbard. So Maitri 2 will be replacing Maitri by 2032. The Thwaites Glacier, which is there in Antarctica, you can see here. Okay, so Thwaites Glacier is here. So it is also known as Doomsday Glacier. It is undergoing a rapid thinning. So what I am telling is, these are all the locations which can be probably asked in the prelims examination. आपको इतना अच्छा explanation with all the locations कहीं नहीं मिलेगा. मैंने predominantly mains के बाद का till April जितने भी लोकेशंस हैं, ओके, सारे लोकेशंस को कवर किया है. इसके साथ साथ मैंने आपको ज्योग्राफी का भी नॉलेज दिया है. आप थोड़ा बहुत पेशेंस रखो, ओके, पता नहीं ये 3 घंटे का वीडियो बनेगा शायद, ओके, प्लीज देख लेना, इसका नोट्स बना लेना. एंड इस वीडियो का जो नोट्स है, पीडीएफ, ओके, अपलोडिंग बिलो इन द डिस्क्रिप्शन में, चेक कर लेना आप. प्लीज वॉच दिस, ओके, सपोर्ट दिस, सब्सक्राइब करना. एंड ऑल्सो आई विल बी लॉन्चिंग ए कोर्स सून इन द मंथ ऑफ जून. सो दिस आई एम पुटिंग फॉर फ्री. Thank you, and please, okay, subscribe and spread the message along. Thank you so much.